All right, folks, we're live now. So, welcome back to Reptile Ramblings number 25. I'm your host, Nate. Brian will be on here in a couple of minutes. And in the meantime, we'll do a little housekeeping. And that involves our sponsor, Serpentine Expeditions. So, Serpentine Expeditions, great place to go if you want to do all sorts of herping adventures, that sort of stuff. Let's see if I can get it to hit 2%. Yep, there we go. But yeah, as you can see, uh, do all sorts of cool stuff. I don't know. Let me check in there. Ecuador, they still have. Yep, Ecuador still available. They still have a few spots open for Ecuador in this April. So that's coming up, folks. You don't want to miss out on that trip. So whenever you go, order on that line to go there. Use code CK25 at checkout for 10% off. And yeah, just have a good time doing that. But with that out of the way, I think it's high time we introduce our guest, Mr. Robert Alleva. Is that just that's how it's pronounced, right?
Yes, sir. You got it.
All right, Mr. Robert Alleva, better known on Instagram as Caveman Rob. Rob, welcome to the show.
Oh, thanks for having me.
So, Rob, you want to tell us a little bit about yourself, how you first got into reptiles, what kind of led you to doing what you do now?
Yeah, absolutely. And man, I'm excited to be here. I've been on quite a few podcasts and radio stuff. I think this is the first podcast I've ever been on that I actually listened to before I went on the podcast. So I'm pretty stoked.
Oh, you're too
You've had
kind.
you've had some great guests with like Rupert and Ian and all those guys. So I was pretty excited. Yeah, I grew up in Oklahoma. Same story as a lot of us. Young age, I had like three species of snake in my backyard. My dad caught me a lizard when I was a kid, and I broke the tail off. And he's like, "Don't worry about it. The tail will grow back." And like it just blew my mind. Uh, but I didn't get into this to a profession semi-professionally until 2008. I moved from Oklahoma to LA, and my buddy worked for a production company, and he's like, "Hey, man, I see you posting a lot of stuff on. I think it might have been Facebook. It might have been MySpace back in those days, way back in the day." And he's like, "I've got this show where they're gonna put a guy in like a plexiglass box, and he's gonna observe feeding behaviors of like lions and tigers." And he's like, "Go audition for it." And I was like, "Man, I don't know anything about lions and tigers." He's like, "Just go. Neither will the other people." So I went. Yeah. And I went, and I was so bad on camera. I literally got it in front of the camera, like freaked out. I was like, I think my line was, "Well, tigers have stripes." And so I did not get that. Uh, I did not get that, but they needed a snake wrangler for set. And I ended up doing some snake wrangling for them. Worked with a lot of cool species, taipans, rattlesnakes, puff adders, some cobras. And I did that for years on and off. Every year or two, I'd get like behind the scenes thing or uh or like a quick like guest appearance on a TV show like Stores Wars. They found a bunch of snake handling equipment. I went there and appraised it. Some of the stuff I didn't know how to call about my buddies to help me appraise it, but like we got the show done and it looked good. Um and then finally Kings of Pain came along, and that was a show where we got bitten and stung by wildlife all over the world. Very similar like Coyote Peterson, like where he gets bitten and stung by stuff. Instead of on the internet, it's on History Channel. If you guys want to watch it, there's two seasons, and they're both out for free now on YouTube on History Channel. Just go to History Channel's YouTube and type in Kings of Pain, and we get into all kinds of crazy bites and stings from wasps and ants all the way up to like beaded lizards and pythons and stuff.
Oh, beetle lizards.
And
Ugh.
then, bro, I'm gonna tell you, I'm gonna tell you, that was yeah. And during those, I used to be married, and back during those days, like my wife knew, like if I come home and I'm in pain from an animal, like just leave me alone and just let me like sweat it out. But when we did the Rio Fuerte beaded lizard, and this was a small one, maybe a foot or so long, maybe a little longer, and it bit me, I swear, 3 to 6 seconds. It was a quick bite. My buddy got it off me, done. And I had basically it hurt for maybe 30 seconds and then no pain for an hour. And I almost went back in for seconds because it's like I got a dry bite. And thank God the medic wouldn't let me, my buddy wouldn't let me, because the venom kicked in full stop. And out of all the animals, and we're talking 40 something, 50 animals that we did throughout those seasons. and including bites I've had off camera. I've never felt pain like that in my life. It kind of like I kind of felt like just a big baby at that point. And I went home and I was like, this is the one time I wanted my wife to take care of me. And I got home and she was out with her friends. so, so I just sobbed in the bathtub, man. I didn't get a single tear, but man, I did everything but cry. I'll tell you what.
Yeah, the one time you actually want her help, and she's like, "Oh, he can handle it on his own."
Yeah, yeah. I trained her too well, man.
Uh, so yeah, did you do any other TV work after that?
Yeah, I still do a lot of like behind the scenes stuff or just snake safety on set. Thankfully, since 2022, all of my jobs have been wildlife. For all these years, I had to bartend in between gigs, and it is a real struggle. And I think a lot of your listeners will know how hard it is to really work just in wildlife. Like that's probably a pretty small segment of people listening. But I bet a lot of people think about it. And between like, I would say at the height, I had a little bit of social media money coming in. Kings of Pain was done, but I still handled rattlesnakes for my friends Eric and Aaron with Natural Solutions. They train dogs to avoid bites from rattlesnakes, and I was handling the snakes for them. Working on TV sets for snake safety, and then also now we're hosting safaris. Me and my buddy from Kings of Pain, we host safaris in Africa and India and Asia now. And so super excited just to sort of it's been like 3 years, but it still feels new to me to like work full time with wildlife. Uh, and like I'm happy, but it's such a good feeling that I'm nervous all the time. Like I would never want to go back to bartending. So fingers crossed, this is a lifelong thing.
Yeah. So, have you noticed any changes in kind of like I don't know the culture or mentality in television production in regards to reptiles? Any changes in the past 15, 20 years or so?
Not so much in TV. It seems to be the same thing. Very like hyped and sensationalized. Even Kings of Pain, it was constantly getting yelled at like more fear, more fear. I'll never forget we found a nice we were in the Bolivian Amazon. We found a nice fresh track of a jaguar. And like for most of us, that's a freaking dream, man. We were so excited and we got scolded so hard. They're like, can this animal kill you? I'm like, well, of course it can. Well, are you excited to die? Like, and like they wanted, it was like that behind the scenes. So it was a constant struggle, learning how to like assert ourselves and also go with the flow. And we were younger then and like a little more scared to like stand up for ourselves. And also just dumber, younger and dumber, you know what I mean? So, uh,
Trust me, I know way too much about being younger and dumber, and I'm only 27. So
yeah,
I'm only 27, and
oh,
I already
man.
look back at my younger self like, ooh, what an idiot.
Oh my gosh. Well, hey, you're doing good because I didn't have anything about 27 is when I slowly started figuring things out. So you're doing good, brother. You're doing really good. But yeah, but well, the alternative now is we have YouTube, we have social media, and so everyone can make their own content according to how they feel about the snakes. And you still see the really hyper sensational stuff. You see the under sensationalized that no one watches either. There's some happy balance in there. You got to bring people in that aren't herpers. If you're just making stuff that herpers like, then you are not really doing anything other than making cool stuff for your friends. If you want to expand into getting new people into snakes and into animals, there's like a fine line, and I have a hard time actually staying within it because like the stuff that my videos that do really well, I'm like, yeah, this is just stupid. You know what I mean? So it's a hard line to fix. Hey, what's up, man?
Hey, hey, what's happening, guys?
Nada. We're just getting rolling here.
Yep.
Fantastic. Great to have you along, man.
So, but yeah, we're just talking about kind of the culture of content creation and that sort of stuff. And I guess the frustrating part of what videos do well, what videos don't.
Well, I mean, I'm curious, did you guys touch on, I guess, a little bit of your back history, like the History Channel, man? How did that come about?
Man, it was a very very overdue show. I feel like because a bite show had been tossed around since at least 2008. When I was working on my first TV show, I talked to my buddy. I was like, "Why isn't there a show where we get bitten by animals and like rate the pain?" And he like, gave me this look. He's like, "Did you talk to someone?" I'm like, "No. What are you talking about?" He's like, "Would you be interested in a show like that?" I'm like, "Yeah." He goes, "Just stand by." And a few months later, he's like, "Remember what we talked about?" He was already working on the show, and it was for Discovery. It's gonna be called Pain Gang, and there's three of us. And they gave the company like 20 something grand just to make a pilot. And basically, they were like, "We're gonna make this pilot so hardcore that they have to pick this show up. They have to." But what happened was we made the pilot so hardcore that it just killed any any chance of us doing it because of liability. Because they wanted to do spitting cobras, and
Oof.
so and yeah, so now we're looking like eyeballs, like yeah, and they tried to justify this to me by saying, well, at least we're not doing the candiru, that fish that swims up your
Ooh.
junk. I was like, okay, that's true. It's actually better. And I was young enough that I'm like, hell yeah, I'll do it. I'll do a spitting cobra to the eye. But yeah, they had a cool concept. You rate the pain. They would have something more relatable to people as well. So, because
Sure.
even if you say like the your eye hurts from a cobra, like how do you relate that to the guest? So, they had these three mystery syringes that they held in their hands, and each one of us had to pick one. So the first guy picked his syringe. It was shampoo, and they sprayed it in his eye, and like it hurt because they were like spraying it directly in his eye, and he like rated that like a 3 or whatever. And then the next guy, he got lime juice, and they held his eye open and squirted lime juice. This is where TV goes, guys. uh and like it was like I was like a 6, and then I pull out my syringe. It's freaking Tabasco sauce.
You.
And so they
You drew the
bro,
short
bro,
straw there.
big time. But not in the long run. In the long run, that worked out for me so well. But in the short term, I'm screwed because they sprayed that Tabasco sauce in my eye, and you can see on camera I developed what looks like a cataract. Instantly, the outside of my eye just goes white. I mean, it was so insanely painful. Turns out, going to the eye doctor later, they had burned off the outer layer of my cornea chemically
Mm.
by spraying it directly in there, and I was in so much pain. And so later, when we moved on to the venom of a red spitting cobra, we had a venom expert come on and talk about all the bad things that could happen. I'm already like in pain with my eye that's swollen shut. I'm freaking out. and they're like, "Well, Rob, since you're already in so much pain, you go first." And thank God I spoke up. I was like, "Just let me go last. I can't even see out of this eye, and now you want to put something in this eye." The other two guys went to the hospital. They went to Sim, and apparently, I don't know what the permit situation was, but they sent them to different hospitals and told them to lie about what happened and all this stuff. I think I can talk about this now. Uh,
Statute of limitations and
uh,
all.
yeah. I signed an NDA, but we won't say any more about it. But like, basically, the medic came up to me after those two went up, and she's like, "Do not do this." And I was like, "I don't want to do this. I can't back out." And I was like, it's such like a tough spot. And the producer came over right then. He's like, "We're done calling it." And one of those guys, oh, and I forgot the best part, the golden shower. So not only, not, yeah, you guys are a little too interested in this now.
More
Um,
concerned, but
okay, good. I'm just playing. Um, so not only were we testing like relatable things with the lime juice and everything, but we're also testing internet things that get copied and pasted. Everywhere you read on the internet was like, to get sprayed by a spitting cobra, you need to flush it out with water. And if you don't have water, use something else. And always said something else like beer, milk, or urine. And so apparently I was going to get the milk, but that was off the table because I didn't go. One of the guys got beer in his eye, and they don't think it was alcohol so much, but the doctors think that the carbonation may have facilitated the venom to go into the eye better somehow, and he actually got permanent eye damage from this. And then the other guy got his own urine, and he double checked the label. This is what's funny to see. He's like trying to see, make sure the label was his urine, which I thought was hilarious. It was going on in his mouth and his face, but he kind of didn't care. He's in so much pain. But it actually worked pretty well, I guess, because it's isotonic. It's from your body, and he had much less damage. So that's a sample size of one. But it looks like if that ever happens to you guys, it's urine, not beer.
Man, you guys just teeter totter on that edge of what you call it, not even sensationalism, but something along those lines is just
Stupidity. Yeah, there's no way in hell I would
stupidity.
ever do anything like that now. I wouldn't even entertain the idea. But at the time, like it was kind of exciting. I was like 26, 27.
Yeah, kind
I
of
was
novel.
ready. Yeah.
Man,
hmm
Steve-O must have watched your stuff and said, "No, thank you."
Yeah, I think Steve-O did Tabasco sauce to the guy too. But I don't know if he got the same damage. He built different.
So after History Channel, was there any other what other sort of television work did you do with animals after that?
Well, before that, I just wanted to touch
Mhm.
on. Did you know Adam beforehand, or was that again with the producers and and having you guys link up?
I did not. So basically, um, that situation I just told you about got canned, and like they never were interested in it. And a full 10 years later, now I'm suspecting because Kaido Peterson was so good
Yeah,
on the internet that History Channel wanted a chunk of that action. And so they created this show, and it made worth the liability because maybe it's going to do really well. Um, and they cast me, and then a few months later, they had a chemistry test where they flew out a bunch of guys to possibly partner with, and Adam had just gotten a phone call a few days before, and they didn't even tell him they just did a wildlife show. And so he lands in the States. He's got a driver taking him from LAX and like some like nice, I don't know if it's a limo, but yeah, like some nice like black car. And like he's getting a royal treatment. He's like, "So what's this show about?" I'm like, "Oh, I don't know, man. I think you're getting stung by something today." He's like, "Wait, what?" He came all the way here not knowing. And I watched him when he got out of the vehicle, and he had these like pants with they're tucked into his boots, like he's some like 1990s soldier, you know. And I was like, I'm not gonna like this guy. I'm not gonna like him at all. And but we started like walking and talking about just whatever. They just want you to walk and talk and just see how you get along. And man, we could talk back and forth, back and forth. Whereas the other hosts, we would be talking over each other or something. Man, it was instantly like just natural. So it was a really good choice. And the first time I got out in the field with Adam, one of the crew had caught a Bolivian anaconda, which is a super rare species. And but they let it go, and when they never used this scene, but they like staged it for Adam to catch it. And like we were looking at the video, and like I mean, the stills look so sick. Like he's like holding this big snake, and he looked at me, and goes, that's pretty cool looking. He goes, "Next time there's a giant snake, make sure you catch it and you get your photos too." I was like, "Okay, that's a good dude. Like that's a really good dude." So yeah,
I
we've been
mean
friends.
it translates well on the show. I mean, I haven't seen too many episodes of Kings of Pain, but it translates well. You guys have pretty good chemistry.
Yeah, it was so lucky, and now we have a business together where we're hosting safaris. So like
Awesome.
it was perfect.
Hopefully, you don't have some sort of sting competition on those safaris, right?
Yeah, no, now now
That comes with the
now
premium package.
yeah, yeah, exactly. Got to pay extra for that.
Yeah. So, sort of after Kings of Pain, was there what other sort of television work did you do?
Ever since Kings of Pain, all I've done is behind the scenes stuff, and like can't talk too much about, but big major TV shows and stuff I've got to do behind the scenes, and snake safety on set, and that's been a big part of my income for the last few years, and it's fun, and I get to like basically look for snakes for a living, which sounds like theft. You know what I mean? Um, and I do that a lot. Um, and then we've been doing the safaris now. We've that's what I want to do full time. We've done, I don't know, seven, I think, safaris so far, or six or six, maybe seven. I think by next January we'll have done 10 and taken nearly 100 people out on safari. So it's going pretty well. Um, excuse me. And we're expanding. We're doing Borneo next year. I don't know if you guys have ever been to Borneo or dreamed about it, but like cool snakes,
Ah,
Mm.
orangutans. Yeah.
well, I
Nate
should,
has an inkling for that
eh,
region. I mean,
something
I
like
do as
that.
well, but
But
maybe
you want to
Borneo.
go for Temistama, don't you?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, you listened to our episode with James, right?
What's that? Yeah, yeah, I did. Yeah, that's really
Yeah,
cool. Where he's in Sarawak, I think.
yeah. So we'll see. I'll see if I can manage next summer to swing a trip out his way. So
It's tough, man. It's tough because we're both Temissimo fanatics as well. It's just it'd be awesome to see that critter in the wild. You know.
Oh my gosh, yeah. I was on the Kinabatangan River, which is in Sabah, Borneo, sort of pretty far from Sarawak. And some of the local guys said they do see Temistama there. Um, but I don't know if they're misiding it. But no, there's the skinny snout one. I'm like, okay, but I can't mean it because I don't think they see salties all the time, so they would know the difference. And I asked like, are there like it's like a peat swamp or somewhere around here where we can target them? And they just really didn't know. They've seen them. Their description was seeing them in the jungle, but not targetable. So ah,
That sounds pretty accurate for
okay.
Temissima. So who knows? You know.
yeah,
Maybe we can all get out there at some point because that would be a
Maybe.
huge bucket list.
I'm curious. I don't. Going back to Kings of Pain, going down to the Amazon, was that like the first big international trip for the series, or
Yeah, for the series, yeah, that we went to. So season two, we stayed in California. That was after COVID and just budget cuts and all the things that are going on in TV. But season one was a dream. We went to Bolivian Amazon. We went to South Africa. We went to Bali, Indonesia, and then we went to Baja, California, and Mexico. So pretty sick. But yeah, that was actually my first time in the Amazon as well. Same with Adam. So we were pretty impressed, and we saw a lot of stuff. And everyone that worked on the show that was used to herping in the Amazon said they'd never seen so much wildlife as they did in the Bolivian Amazon. Because Amazon's tough. Amazon's like famous for being tough to herp. And these guys were coming up with Bolivian anacondas, red-tailed boas, cribos. I think I heard you mention those before. Like Lyophis, the swamp snakes. And I mean, it was just huge numbers of snakes for the Amazon. And even I was forbidden from herping because we had someone almost die out there from like a rear fang snake. And
really?
yeah, well, he was allergic. Yeah,
oh,
he was
okay.
allergic. And he let it latch onto him for photos.
Mm,
And the biologist even told I wasn't sure if it's Lyophis, which is now Erythrolampus or some other genus now, or Helicops. But either way, the biologist is like that one's rear fang, and it bit me. And I gave it to pretty much anything that lives in the water pretty much is rear fanged anyway.
Especially in
Um,
South America.
yes, yes. But my buddy let it latch onto him for a long time, and he was allergic. He had a mamba bite and some other stuff. Uh, and I don't know if you're familiar with Dingo. It was Dingo,
oh yeah.
who actually passed away
R.I.P.
from mamba bite last year. Yeah,
Sure, sure.
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. But yeah, he let it latch onto him, and then he collapsed on the bank and fighting for his life. And I forgot what they said they gave him in EpiPens, but it was the equivalent of his double-digit numbers of EpiPens, the equivalent that they gave him. They gave it to an IV, and like it was really scary because a lot of people carry EpiPens if they have some allergies, and I think those are about a third of a milligram, and they gave him a half uh, to start, and
Wow.
that lasted him maybe a minute, 2 minutes before he started to crash again. So yeah, consult your doctor, but like I've seen it with my own eyes that maybe one, two, or three EpiPens is just not enough, and most people carry one. So
So it's a little advantageous to maybe do your research and maybe just try to be aware when you go out to these wild places. Because I mean, it's not all fun and games. Obviously, you're there to produce a show, but you do have to be
mhm.
wary. I would imagine the crew is pretty tight knit. Like it's not that big of a crew whenever you guys were doing like those international shows, right?
Yeah, we tried to actually count it recently, and I think there's somewhere around Excuse me, I got a little bit cold, so I'll be sniffing. Now I shouldn't have brought it up. Now everyone's gonna notice. um, but yeah, maybe like a dozen of us, and then
Yeah, that's
in
about
Bolivia, especially, we had at least another dozen local guys. Man, you want to know what's intimidating when you watch like 7 carloads of people driving, and you're like, all those people have a job because like of you, and if you screw this up, like they don't have a job. That was so intimidating. It was it was it was a weird thing just to like watch all those cars in front of you and be like, oh,
Well,
those
I thought you
people
were going to
suck.
say just because you're in Bolivia and given, the violent nature of the country. I thought you
Yeah, where we were, we had no issues, with the exception of after Dingo's incident, word spread, and then like the military came up and like canoes, because we were in a place like to get there, like it took like 2 days to get there from, I think I'm in LA to Miami to Lima, Peru to La Paz, which is like a high up, like the highest capital city in the world. Like when you get off the plane, I promise you, like it's party time because they're giving you oxygen and coca leaves. Look what they make cocaine from, and those to treat the altitude. And then we had to take another flight down to like where we're in Baque, and then like a 3 hour drive off-roading, and then like a 20-minute canoe ride. So that's why Dingo almost died. Like at that point, it was because we were so isolated. Um, but I forgot what I was saying. Oh yeah, the military showed up on canoes. And I just saw them. I just walked straight into the jungle. I was like, I don't know why they're here. I'm not sticking around to find out. And basically, they shook down the lodge owner for like $1,000, and then they didn't bother us the rest of the time. So that was it. I was there during Carnival. So we went back to the city. Like we didn't know it was Carnival, and like we're going down this road. It wasn't the famous death road, but it's another sketchy road from the airport
Mhm.
down to like the main city. And like I was like, I swear our taxi driver is wasted. I swear he is like wasted, wasted. I'm like, he's drunk. And like, I know. And we get there and he pulls over, and there's just a long line of taxi drivers. They're all just standing by their taxis drinking. Like they don't care. Like it was wild.
That's something different for sure.
Uh,
Yeah, that's definitely a bit of a culture shock. So,
yeah, I wasn't ready.
so before Kings of Pain, did you do any other sorts of international herping trips?
Yeah, yeah. So I would say there's like 3 points in my life where I've been obsessed with herping. Probably when I was like 14, and then when I moved to LA. So when I was in my late 20s, and then in the last 2 years, I've been really obsessed with it again. But in between those periods, yeah, distracted with life and dating and all these things. But it's always been my number one hobby. Always been my number one hobby. So, yeah, my first trip out of the country was with my buddy Mike Clarkson, and we went to South Africa, and that's actually how our safaris got started way later. But and it was great, man. Mike put together a 10-day itinerary, and we just hit the roads. We hit the hills hiking. Um, and it was one of those things, we had like it was January, so it's their summer, their wet season is supposed to be good, but they had a weird cold snap. So we're not getting puff adders, we're not getting cobras, we're not getting any of the iconic stuff. We're getting all the small fossorials, and all the South African guys with us are having the time of their lives, and we're just pissed off. But we're getting like black file snakes and maybe
That's
pygmy
pretty
wolf
cool.
snakes and stuff. Yeah, stuff that are like really awesome. I remember a lot of egg eaters. I think I was the only one that got super lucky. One of the local guides was like, Cobric, Cobric. And for whatever reason in my head, I didn't know that meant cobra. Like the way it's saying it. Sounds obvious now, but like I bent over, and all of a sudden I was like face to face with Infezi, the Mozambique spitting cobra. And it's just looking at me. And I was like, it could have just nailed me. I don't know why it didn't, because they're not like Asian cobras where like they're like reluctant to spit. Like they spit right away. But it didn't. Well, yeah, we had a good time, and at Costa Rica, and since then, a lot of time in Southern Africa, a little time in Central America, a little South America, definitely Middle East. I've had some decent experience in, but more like relatively, because not a lot of people go. Uh, and then Southeast Asia is my love, though, man. You just cannot be Southeast Asia.
I've noticed, man. It seems like you're a little bit captivated by Southeast Asia. There's something about that region, man.
Yes,
Either
the
can't be,
infrastructure is good.
yeah.
The snakes are good, like all the things you get in Africa, you still kind of get it in Asia, right? You still get leopards, you also get tigers, you get elephants. Parts of Asia you still get hyenas. Um, you get megafauna like that, but you get king cobras, you get the crates, you get the spitting cobras still, you get the non-spitting cobras. Um, you got sea snakes and sea crates. The people are very cool. The food's usually good. The infrastructure is decent enough. But the main thing, guys, maybe you got some experience with this. It's like no one messes with you. No one questions you when you walk off into the jungle. Whereas like the Middle East or India, like you get, interrogated every time you step out of any tourist area.
I would say we got. I mean, Nate and I have shared just one international trip in Colombia, and I would say it was a mix. I mean, for the most part, we were left alone to our own devices
There,
until we
there was that
until we
one
made it
time.
obvious. Well, a couple times until we made it obvious, but for the most part, so that's kind
You
of
you
why.
have to tell me right. You have to tell me right now what happened.
Do you want to tell him or should I?
Go for it. Maybe, let's see whose memory's better.
I'll do the second time because the first time was more like a routine traffic stop, but second time we basically driven from the Pacific coast all the way across the Andes to the Orinoco Basin in the course of one day, and it was getting late at night. We were just road cruising this area, and we were all worn out. And I was the one driving. And I just saw something to look. I was like, "Is that a snake? No, it might be a snake. I'll go ahead and back up and take a look at it again." If that's probably a stick. I was like, "Don't worry, guys. Don't work yourself up, guys. It's probably just a stick." No,
And Michael's that's the Viper.
yeah, that was our first Viper of the trip, and our first sentence. I think we all said something like, "Oh, venomous, yeah," or something along those lines.
What
Yeah, we've all piled up.
was it?
It was is that Asper
A-Truck.
A-Trucks?
It
A-Trucks.
was
So yeah,
Okay.
Bothrop's A-Truck. So I guess we could call it Amazonian Basin for the lands, or
Okay, yeah.
Terciopelo, whatever. I mean, those things probably have like half a dozen local names, but
100%. Yeah, they do. I usually say terciopelo for Asper, but man, everyone calls it something different.
yeah. And so we were all just piled around this thing at like 3, maybe 4 a.m. in this small local farming, ranching town, and on the road, and we're just taking pictures of it for a while, and then we notice little cop motorcycle pulled up, and two cops asked us to get out of the car, and they just started quizzing us because they're like, we got reports of this one random car sitting out on the middle of the road, the lights on. Yeah.
We were there for a minute. Like we photographed the Aatrox. I don't mean to cut in. They were there for a solid minute. It was like right after we released the Aatrox, and we were about to get back to the car.
Yeah.
How
The thing is, we left the car running
do you
with the
explain
AC.
it?
We basically told him like, "Oh, we're taking pictures of snakes." He's like, "You want to see the picture?" And it's like, "Nah, we're good." But that's kind of the nice part about herping is once you tell people you're messing with snakes, they're like, "Obviously, you're crazy. I don't mess with crazy people." So
Yeah, I mean, for the most part, they're pretty pleasant to deal with. I mean, obviously, meeting people at that time in the morning, they don't know what to expect. So I remember the one dude just pulls a pistol right out because he's expecting, he doesn't know. And then Emiliano, my friend Emiliano, and I and everybody, we just kind of calmed them down. We told them, we're just here looking at wildlife. It's kind of eccentric hobby, and they kind of calmed down. They're like, "Oh, cool, just be safe," that type of deal.
the funny thing was that they actually pegged you and M's Spanish accents. So
And you guys, are you fluent in Spanish?
not me, not yet, at least.
Un poquito. I get by.
Okay.
I can get by.
You get a
Nice.
lot.
But
You get by a lot better than most gringos who learn Spanish.
just keep at the Duolingo, Nate. Just keep at that.
Yeah,
They got those AI ones, man, that I'm really looking into. So like it talks back to you and listens to how you're saying it. That might be the way because it's hard if you can't practice every day.
I agree.
Well-
Without the immersion, it's pretty tough.
Well, for my major, I have to take 3 semesters of foreign language, and they have Spanish at the branch campus going to, so may as well.
Might as
Perfect.
well. I mean, I would love to get into Portuguese. That's kind of why, when I was messaging you earlier, I was like, let's touch on Brazil because that is definitely one of the upper echelons of countries I would like to visit. Not just herping, but just everything. So I think that's a good point. Why don't we touch on Brazil a little bit? What was the first time you went there? What was the main gist of your first trip? What was the agenda? Let's start with that.
I mean, professional success, personal massive, massive failure. I'll tell you. Yeah, and I wish I knew a little Portuguese. I was in Guatemala right before trying to work on my Spanish,
I
and
saw the
man, I went
video.
to
Yeah,
Portugal. Yeah, bro, I was so confused.
yeah.
Um,
By the way, FYI, guys, check out his YouTube channel. It's pretty popping, pretty banger.
oh, sick. Appreciate that as well. Snakes and safaris. I just started it back in like April or something, so all new. Um, yeah, so I went to Brazil not to herp. I went to scout for safaris, and so the type of people that we take on safaris are not quite like herpers or birders. They're more like regular people with an interest in wildlife, or maybe like a herper who's like in his first or second or third year, not like somebody's been herping their whole life. If you're like the type of person who's pissed because we're stopping looking at a lion, you know, 'cause we're missing birds and snakes, our safaris are not for you. Before I get to Brazil, uh, if you are like in that category, you're like a normal person, normal, like we're not, but like normal person who like wants to see wildlife, maybe do some herping, especially you and I can team up and get out in the field. Like our safaris are definitely for you. Some places have more herping than others. But if you're only in the herping, if you're going to Southeast Asia, 100%, Rupert's Reptiles, what's it? Explore Herpetology with Rupert's Reptiles. That guy is so freaking good. Like I'm going on a trip with him someday. But if you're going to Africa, you could either do Tyrone Ping. He's really good. Or you can do serpentine expeditions. I
Yep.
know Ian. I'm actually working on my Warzone Wildlife project with Ian. We can get into that later. Him and Michael, good dudes. So look up serpentine expeditions. But anyway, so I went to Brazil to scout for safaris because we
Just
never just
just real
yeah.
quick about the whole us not being normal. Just saw this the other day.
We're lucky. We're lucky if it was Tylenol.
Oh boy.
You made me laugh when I'm drinking Coke Zero. Oh man.
Uh,
Oh. Oh, but anyway, like uh everyone that does the safari tours, whether it's herping or normal tours, I swear they go to Peru, they go uh to Ecuador, somewhere like that. Usually in the Guyana Shield or like the basin, they'll go like Peru, I swear is the most common one. Bolivia looks like it's amazing from our experience, but like no one goes there. It's a little bit harder to get to. But we go to Manaus. It's in the middle of the Amazon basin. You're on the actual Amazon River. People want to check that box. It seems more Amazon to go to Amazonas, Brazil, on the Amazon River. Um, Plus, it's easier for Americans. You got to get quick visa to get there, and then it's probably not a direct flight, but maybe you have a layover in Panama City, and then you're in Manaus. It's actually very easy to get there. So we're like, it has to be Brazil. So I went and just started like taking the normal tours that people take to find like a good company, and then at night doing herping. I swear to you, I'm the only person in the history of the world who's been to the Amazon and not seen a single snake, not one snake. And I was there, I don't know, 8 or 9 nights. It
oh
was it
wow.
was insane. Yeah, I did find one dead green anaconda. I don't know, like it was not close to the water. It was maybe like 500 to 1,000 yards from the water, and I guess someone killed it. 2 or 3 meter anaconda. That was brutal. But that was my first night, so I was like, okay, at least I'm gonna get stuff, and then nothing else. But it's fun, man. We went swimming with pink dolphins, piranha fishing, went to the meeting of the waters. I just didn't see as much life as I normally see in uh, other areas of the world. But I think I've got it figured out for our guest. We do 4 or 5 nights, real short, either during the flooded season when you can cruise through the flooded forest and it's gorgeous and you're closer up so you can see more monkeys and more snakes because the ground's flooded. Or we do the opposite. We do the driest season when we can maybe catch, uh, all the caiman because the water's down. We can catch stingrays. We can catch electric eels. We can catch like the ripsaw catfish, all the stuff that you'd never see during the wet season. So you could have a blast there in 4 or 5 days and then get back home and tell your coworkers you just swam with pink dolphins. Uh, but well,
I
you're
do
probably
want to
interested.
touch on that too,
Yeah,
because that is pretty cool. I saw that on your Instagram. Those pink dolphins, they're intimidating, but also very cool looking.
yeah. Actually, Ian told me one bit someone's foot and like messed them up. But that stuff happens with everything, you know. I
As
had
Yeah,
no
but
issues.
as long as they're not as messed up as bottlenoses, we should be good, right?
they're probably even more,
Yeah,
to be honest.
I don't know. There's some weird stories about them. I'll tell you what. Apparently, the thing used to be if a girl got pregnant, like when she was like a teenager or a young lady, like, yeah, it's probably one of the dolphins.
I believe it.
Real convenient. Yeah.
I
I'm
believe
pretty
it.
sure there's a couple of pre-zygotic hybridization barriers there, but
I mean, fetuses, if they match, they match. Come on, Nate. You touched on Cayman. So that first trip, did you see any? And then I seen from your handle that you mess with some palpabrosis and whatnot.
Yeah, dude, so excited. So in that area, there's four species: uh, the black caiman, spectacled, palpabrosis, and then the smooth threaded caiman. Got the spectacled, and they were everywhere. I saw maybe I may have only seen one black caiman the entire time. The same one, just kind of lurking in the same area. And then I really wanted palpabrosis. Problem is, like, none of the guides understand what you're asking. Even if you say like Yacaré Poquino or anything, like they don't quite get it. But then I met a guy named Fabio, and if you anyone's headed out to Manaus just to go look for it, I'll give you his information. And he speaks English, Spanish, Portuguese, French, all of that, so you can take whoever with you. But he had a spot for the caiman, and we got maybe five or six Papabrosas. I'm guessing from the same nest because they're all the same size, all in the same area. But it was in that it was inside the forest in the spring where all those were. We did get one on the main river though, but it was sort of where the spring's outlet was. So that was kind of interesting.
yeah. Was that the one you sent the video of to me of?
Yeah, yeah. I had no idea how to key out between Papabrosas and the smooth fronted. So I was like, maybe someone else can.
Yeah. So, good rule of thumb: if it's spiky dragon looking, it's Trigonotus. If it's more rounded out puppyish looking, it's Palabrosis. So,
Okay. Yeah. And it
especially
was puppyish looking.
especially especially those tail coddles, the the uh, triangles on the side of the tail, especially at the base of the tail.
Mhm.
Those really flare out on Trigonotus. Palabrosis not as much.
Ah, okay. That's good. That's a good tip.
And of course, there's always individual variation and stuff like that. But
Right.
They're cool, man.
Okay.
They're probably my favorite of the dwarfs, the palpabrosis.
There's something else. That was probably the top of my list in the world.
That's sweet.
Now we're gonna have to pick a new one. You
I'm
guys
just happy.
have any plans? Good.
I'm just happy we managed to check off one Paleosuchus on our Columbia trip.
Yeah, on the very last night, we managed to get a Trigonotus.
Nice.
We did get our
So
hands on
we'll
it.
have to
But,
swap spots. Yeah. We'll have to swap spots there.
yeah, but it's like just one off the back end of a pond somewhere, and then we just saw the head. And it's like that's definitely not a crocodilus. That's definitely a Paleosuchus, and it looked to me like a Trigonotus. I showed a few other people, and like, yeah, that's a trig. So
Did you
Yeah.
get Orinoco's as well?
we didn't go to that part of Columbia. I'm
It's not enough time.
Okay.
Just I definitely
I'm
want
not
to
going to
redo.
harp on it. I'm not going to harp on it, Bryant.
It's
I
such
mean,
a sore subject.
I don't know.
That's
The
funny.
longer time has passed, the more I feel like I will start to harp on it, Nate. But still, fantastic. I would love to go back to Colombia. Kind of like alluding to what you were talking about, like Bolivia. It's one of those countries. It's starting to get more recognition, but still, it's
Mhm.
still a little bit under the radar compared to all the other South American countries. But Brazil, though, Brazil it seems somewhat difficult to navigate. But obviously, with Manaus, that's pretty well recognized as the biggest city in the Amazon. Was that the only area that you visited
Yeah.
in Brazil?
Yeah, I stayed in that same area and I tried maybe 4 or 5 different tour companies and it's all the same thing. They take you on the sand can tour, which, man, for like 2 days is the most fun you'll ever have. I'm telling you, man. Arapaima Farm, piranha fishing, all that stuff. Like, it's great, but then it's just a Groundhog Day. And if you're like, I kept telling the people, like we go with caiman spotting and we get all these spectacled caimans. And I'd be like, no, I want, I think it's Yakuria Shu is the black caiman. And they're like, oh yeah, yeah. And then they just drive to the dock and be done for the night. I'm like, I just wanted to pull my hair out. I was so frustrated. So I think it's something where there's definitely a niche for people to make specialized tours there, where like you can actually go over the things you want because they seemed weirded out that I was even down to catch stuff. It was just it wasn't part. I guess there's just not a lot of herpers there.
I think you're right.
Yeah, it's probably just looking at the look as a local gringo or something like that.
Exactly, exactly. Hey, I wanted to ask you guys. So I'm a snake guy through and through, especially like venomous snakes. Pretty much the only thing I like read about. But then seeing crocs in the wild fascinates me. Is there anything like that's really on your bucket list, or even there's a lot of places that I've noticed with crocodiles. It's not just the species; it's like the location. There's some weird places that crocs are found. Is there anything like that on y'all's like bucket list or dream list?
There's a lot. As
Yeah.
as cliche as it sounds, it would be kind of cool to just go see the National Geographic shot Mara River Nile crocs, but that's
Hmm.
not that particularly high on my list. Orinoco's are obviously super high on my list. I've worked with them in captivity, so I have personal connect. I want to say connection, but a personal history with the species that I just like to check them off. Seeing them in the wild would be so cool. Uh, I think I talked with Brian about this before, but Chinese alligators, like, are they really even wild though? But then you like, I saw your a story about it. It's like someone found took some wild photos of them, and it's like that looks so cool. But yeah, Temisma obviously, salties and freshies in Australia would be pretty high up on my bucket list as well. But I mean, we could get into non-crocodilians afterwards. But uh, yeah, and just Paleosuchus, mate, and
Hmm.
entrance bucket list in South America is Paleosuchus, either species, and Laterostris, the broad snouts.
That'd be so cool. Yeah, I mean, same camp. I'm just on this South American kick. I can't get rid of it. Black Cayman. They used to occupy real highly on my list. They still do, but I
Hmm.
think talking with Nate over the months, Orinoco's, I've started to have that affliction as well. But I've had hands on with Acutus in Panama, and so
Hmm.
I know a spot. I know a spot, especially during like the dry season when certain creeks are low, and you could just night shine them and
Nice.
work your magic. But yeah, I mean, seeing crocodilians, they are fascinating to me. It'd be awesome to see a lot more in the wild for sure.
Yes. Yes. And some of those are going to be hard, man. Like a Cuban croc or some of those, like a Chinese alligator. Oh,
Yeah, and like I said with Brian, it's Chinese alligators are kind of weird because they're almost like not even wild. It seems like it's
mm,
more like a managed population that is officially wild, but it's really just kind of like a fenced off parking lot almost. But
Tiniest stretch on the Yangtze, and I mean we have so much captive stock. It is a weird conundrum with them.
by the
I
way,
mean,
mhm.
by
kind
the
of the same with cubans.
by the way, Dieter actually texted me a little while ago. His female actually did finally lay her eggs, and they're probably about 7 to 10 days away from hatching. So
Would that be like the second clutch? Didn't he hatch
that'd be
a
like
clutch?
that'd be the first clutch with this male, but it'd be like her third or fourth clutch.
Okay,
So it's
nice.
so it really is dependent on if this male is either a stud or uh, Henry VIII when he wants a boy, which in that
Dud.
case, yeah.
You're a stud or a dud. Yeah, cool.
So
Have you been to? We talked on the Land of Oz. Have you been down there as well, Robert?
Yeah, yeah. I've been to Perth on the in Western Australia, and I've been up to Northern Territory, which is probably the most epic herping trip I've ever done. Now, I will be honest, Australian elapids and stuff, they just don't do it for me the way a lot of like Asian and African snakes do. They just don't. But man, me and my buddy Jaden, so JJ Snakes on Instagram, man, we hammered out 73 snakes in a week, and we got both croc species as well. We We saw lots of freshies and then one like 2 second shot of a massive salty at KO's Crossing going under the water. But man, we got like 10 rough scale death adders. We got a pygmy mulga, bunch of fossorial lapids, water pythons, olive pythons, carpet. We got everything except for the Owen Pelly python. And we tried for that too. But that's almost impossible. Dude, 73 snakes. We got the file snake that's down there, the Urafura file snake.
Oh, cool. Yeah.
Yeah, that was really cool. And just days before, I was in Bali and got my first marine file snake. And so I'm going to Sumatra and
Pretty,
maybe possibly
are they pretty
Java
similar?
after. Well, not at all. The marine file snake's the smallest one, maybe the one that can move slightly on land.
Yeah,
And
because
it's
they
the
have like
most
really,
marine.
they have almost like no ventral scale.
Exactly. They have like no ventral scales. Maybe the marine
so
file
off.
snake has a little bit. I have to look at, but they definitely can move a little bit, like in the mangrove areas. But the Arafurus file snake is it's a lot chunkier and heavier. I saw 4 or 5 of them, but man, they're all just sticking their heads out of the same pipe and going back down. So like, it was cool to see them all come up, but like I never got to see an entire snake, not one time. So that was cool. And I want to go get the Javan file snake just to piss off my buddy Mike Clarkson because he's he's the master of those. But I'm trying to beat him to getting all 3. So hopefully this year's the year.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
I mean, we can harp all about the Land of Oz as it's not overrated, but you know, that's usually people's top choices. But man, there's something to be said of why it's always the top choice of most people's lists. I mean, and also the Northern Territory, that is arguably the best bang for your buck in terms of like diversity.
Dude, it was silly easy. I couldn't believe it. We ran into a local guy as well, and he gave us a bunch of spots, so we just killed it. Bugs though, fuck, guys, the bugs there like nowhere I've ever been in my life, and we were just covered like the first hour, like the first night. I'm like, at least they don't bite. And then we walked into some other area, and I don't know what they were. They were biting. They're crawling in our ears. Like it was brutal, man. I've never experienced bugs like that. Anyway, I'll post something tomorrow. I was actually going to post a little video of it. There's so many bugs out there, but it's cool. It's cool. But yeah, I'll stick to Asia any day.
Do you have any inklings of like the Kimbleys, like in northwestern Australia?
Man, those look so cool. You guys think about going out there? There's like so many endemics as well.
Yeah, man, it's just there's so many
There's a lot
places
of
in the
places,
world.
right? Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like gotta choose our battles. I'd like I said, I have that thing with Sarawak I really want to do. Same time, there's Colombia still calling because there's so much left undone there. We only got a small sample of it, and it just makes the heart grow fonder.
Yes, it
Like I
does.
said, Australia. I'll love to go someplace in Africa. Costa Rica, I'd love to go there again. There's plenty of places here in the States as well, but yeah, it's hard to choose.
So hard. So hard to choose.
Yeah, you said for season 2 of Kings of Pain, you guys mainly focus in California. You said Baja, California too.
No, we did Baja California in Mexico on season 1, and then basically season 2 we just shot it right outside of LA. But instead of looking for the animals, we just had the animals brought to us. So it wasn't California animals. So we just had everything brought in. So imagine we're out there with like tropical fish, and it's like literally ice on the table up in the mountains. We're like hitting it with like heaters and like trying to get the water warm. And like, we got 20 minutes to shoot this shot because like you have to tank it like 77. We had to stop and drop in all the heaters, and like it was brutal, man. You're like freezing cold, getting stung by stuff. Horrible.
Terrible workaround. But how was Baja in your opinion? What episode was that on?
That was man, they aired it all so out of order, but we did 2 episodes there. We did one of the scorpion fish species. We did one of the, I think was it rough harvest? No, I can't remember the name of the harvester ant. I'm terrible with insects and stuff. But we did a harvester ant species. We did a water bug, and then something else. Do you think I would never forget this in my life? But man,
Well, that's kind of
you forget these things.
Why harvester ants? Are they?
They're just
They have a reputation.
Yeah, they do. They do. And since then, I've been stung by several species. Some are way worse than others. According to Justin Schmidt, who we kind of based the show around, he's an entomologist. He wrote a book, The Sting of the Wild, and he rated all the insect stings from a 1 to a 4 back in the day. But he was saying maybe the Maricopa harvester ant would could be a contender for the most toxic animal in the world. So either way, super toxic thing. That's an ant that stings you on some of those species, like the California and the Maricopa harvester ant. The sting atomizes just like a bee, so comes off and stays in your skin, keeps pumping, and you're looking at 8 to 12 hours of pain from these things. Not as bad as like a bullet ant, but what we did on the show was just multiple stings. So we just stick our hand in the cage for like a minute. Oh my gosh, way worse than a bullet ant when you start compounding those stings like that. Really, really. So yeah, they're actually well known for being very, very painful. But it's cool, man. Outside of work, did some road cruising. We got the Baja California rattlesnake. We got different subspecies of the red diamond rattlesnake. Really, really unique, like dry forest habitat where you're up in the hills and it looks almost like the Arizona desert with a cactus that looks like a saguaro, but it's a different species. And then you drop down in the canyons and it just looks like Southern California with live oaks and things like that. It's a really, really cool place.
Yeah. And
Sweet.
real quick response to Joy. If you want to hear us talk about caimans, rewind it 5-10 minutes. It'll have all the caiman content you want. So
Black Cayman forever.
yeah.
Yeah, I've talked to him before. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, he's probably the biggest fan. Black Cayman.
Yeah, I mean,
So
that's what the handle says it all.
There's
so in
A little
terms
light
of
here, guys. That's way too much.
so in
How's that
terms
looking? Is that better or was it better before?
it's looking good.
no, it's solid. You're solid, dude.
So in
Okay.
terms of herping in the United States, what are some of your experiences herping here in the States?
Nothing compares to Arizona, like the Sky Islands. I think that's probably across the board with most herpers. If you've been to the Sky Islands, uh, it's cool. You can get up there and herp during the day. Go for Willard Eye, which is still white whale of mine. You get the rock rattlesnakes, or certain areas you get the trifecta with the twin spot. And you can drop as it gets cooler. You can drop down the flats and get Gilas and blacktails along the way, and then the tiger rattlesnake all in the same night. There's really nothing like it. Um,
No, you're
I
not.
would. It's world class. It really is.
You're adding fuel to the fire for Nate and I. I've been out there before. I mean, you've been out to Arizona before too, Nate, but just never focused on.
And it was also on the opposite side of Arizona as well. Whereas Skylands are down the southeast, I was all the way in the tippy top northwest corner because that's just part of the interstate crosses over when you get to Utah from Las Vegas.
Oh yeah.
So I mean, we pulled over there and some little cemetery there, and that's where we caught some desert iguanas in some little roadside cemetery. And
It's like, oh, are you like kind of near that big gorge where you get to St.
yeah,
George?
yeah, because I was visiting a friend out there who lived in St. George at the time, so that's that's right. You had to go to St. George from Vegas, so
Dude, desert iguanas, man, epic. We're lucky we have those. We're lucky we have chuck wallas. We're lucky we have horn lizards. Like, there's a lot of cool stuff that, to be honest, I've neglected. I've parked the states a bunch, but I've neglected it just because things sound so exotic in other places. But like, we really live like in a country that has, from the southeastern U.S. to California, has some of the most epic reptiles in the world. It just didn't seem like it because it's ours.
yeah. I was
Yeah,
gonna
quote
say,
unquote, in our own backyard, so we just
Mhm.
forget about it, set it and forget it.
when you talk about your first South Africa trip, and how you're getting all this, fossorial stuff, and all your local friends they're like, yeah, that's so cool, and you're like, where's the cobras? So to a certain extent, that'd be like someone from like Africa or Europe coming over, and you guys are just finding Kentucky pine snakes and rainbow snakes and all that sort of stuff, and they're like, "Where's the rattlesnake at?"
Yeah,
I came here for Lamprepeltis. Show me the Lamprepeltis. So
yeah,
Where
yeah.
are the worm snakes? I want my worm snakes in my ring necks.
Copperhead, yeah. Well, here's a funny story for you guys. I've spent at least 6 or 7 months on the ground in South Africa, and my white whale is so embarrassing. I don't want to say it. Um, I've never got a freaking puff at her. That's like coming to like the South and not getting a copperhead, or coming to LA and not getting a Southern Pacific rattlesnake. And I can't quite. I've been to Uganda as well. They're in Uganda as well. So it's 7, 8 months I spent and never got one. It makes no sense. The only thing I can think of is I've done I've done some herping in South Africa, but I'm usually I worked for 3 months at an eco lodge. Not a lot of road cruising because the areas where I stayed were very sketchy at night. Um, and the areas where for 3 months we were in the worst drought ever. That hurt things. Um, but also, like most of the areas I've been are in the sand forest where the puff adder still lives, but it's a lot less common. But where I was working for 3 months, like 2 miles away, was way better habitat, and I never got one there. And then we filmed Kings of Pain. We actually shot at the lodge I had worked at, and the producer first night just went down to check the other spot out and got one the first night. I was so mad, so mad. I got a gaboon viper before a puff adder. Makes no sense.
I mean, in some respects, that's kind of cool. That's I can relate with you. Like here in Illinois, where I'm based out of, we have a timber rattlesnake. I have yet to see one, but I've seen Western species of rattlesnakes. So kind of in that boat.
Yeah, it's just funny. Everyone has a white whale. It's something like that.
Yeah, man. Nate, if you still want to touch on some other stuff, just go for it. But I wouldn't mind transitioning to what you were talking about, your project with Ian, the war zone.
Yeah, War Zone Wildlife Project.
Yeah.
So very interesting backstory to this, but I only made it sort of official this year. It's just a very small project, but the focus is just on bringing some ecotourism back into areas that maybe have a reputation for being war zones or are adjacent to active war zones. Anything where like there's potential for ecotourism, but it's affected by a war or by former wars. And the reason I want to do that is, maybe like Spain and stuff has problems with too many tourists, but most places benefit from having tourism. And like in Uganda, for instance, we have a buddy named Alfar, and he basically leases land. There are just fragments left, and these fragments have gaboon vipers, they have hairy bush vipers, they have all these really iconic, like rhino vipers, iconic species in fragmented forest. And who knows genetically what's going to happen in the long run, but these guys, they have very valuable trees in them, which they can cut, and then they can clear it for agriculture. But he pays them not to do that, and it's only because people go to see the animals there. So there's very like concrete like benefits to ecotourism. So we want to bring that to war zones because in war zones I've seen like in Iraqi Kurdistan, like people are pressured to unsustainably maybe harvest trees for charcoal. Like normally they trim the trees and leave them alive, but like if people are pushed into areas as refugees and stuff, they may just clear cut the land because someone else already took the sustainable parts of the tree. You know what I mean? Like, and it's things like that. So back in 2015, I basically joined the war through Facebook. So everyone remembers 2015, 2014, ISIS like took over large parts of Iraq and Syria. They even pushed into Lebanon a little bit. And it was a crazy time. And in Iraq, the Iraqi army was fighting them, but Syria was already like in the civil war. And so you had the main factions were the government forces, the rebel forces, which were, some people wanted the new government, some were Islamist, and then the third sort of less known factions were the Kurdish factions up in the northeast. And the Kurds were just getting smoked because ISIS had so much better weapons, so much better training, and they had a lot of fighters that had fought before. But the U.S. actually started giving them air support and everything, but we weren't giving them troops on the ground. And so one random American went and like got blown up his second day, and so he's in the hospital. And he made a Facebook page. He's like, basically for people that wanted to come, giving information so they wouldn't just show up and get kidnapped or some weird thing happening. It's called the Lions of Rojava. And Rojava just means West Kurdistan, which is the Syrian part of Kurdistan. So I was like, screw it, man. Like they made the newspapers and stuff. And then I saw like the FBI come on, and the FBI was like, well, we don't encourage this, but there's nothing illegal about doing this. I'm like, you shouldn't have said that because I'm going. Like, yeah, I was, you know, free. I didn't have a girlfriend or anything, so I believe it was the right time. So, um, but the way Wars on Wildlife started is because you can't just fly into Syria. So you have to get your way into northern Iraq, into the Kurdish parts of Iraq, as like a tourist. And then I was in the city of Suleimania, which, if you look at Iraq, the northern part is for the Kurds. It's the mountainous areas. It's not the desert areas at all. And if you look at the right side, so the east side of the map, there's a city named Suleimania. And we had to get from Suleimania all the way across northern Iraq to the areas where we're going to get smuggled across the Syrian border. And the smuggling process would be very similar to people coming from Mexico to the US. Like, you have smugglers, you're going through fields, you're crossing the river, that whole thing. But we can't say what we're doing because we're going through all these different political parties of different Kurds. And so we go from like the friendly, like semi-friendly political party to the unfriendly political party. And then we like paint the picture of this place. It's beautiful. On the left, it just looks like freaking Kansas, man. It's just flat fields, like farms. And on the right, it looks like California with some rolling hills and then bigger mountains behind it.
Mhm.
And we get up there, and then all of a sudden we go through a couple canyons, and it's like beautiful green mountains, crystal clear rivers, like not how you picture Iraq at all. And then like out of this super camouflage tent, I see this Kurdish fighter, and he's like a guerrilla fighter. He's got like his uniform on and his AK, and invites us in for tea. And there's like machine guns hanging on the wall and all this stuff. And like there's like female fighters, and like the cat's on the table, like trying to steal the bread. I'm like, what kind of weird dream am I in? Like, this is such a surreal moment. Uh, but then like we all hop in the pickup truck, and he like chucks the AK in my lap. I'm like, what the hell? And like we drive up through like some mountain passes, and like he has everybody duck because we go through like the other political parties like territory in the city. And then we go off road through like a river. Maybe it's a shallow river, and like it's Toyota Hilux pickup. And we're driving through this river. I'm like, dude, this is the coolest thing I've ever done in my life, man. I got like three or four of my buddies that I just met, like we're like getting smuggled across the country. And I'm like looking at this place. I'm like, oh, we come here to like Herp. It looks so amazing. But it's getting dark, and like he turns the lights on to pick up, and after a while his radio comes on, and he like immediately like pulls out of the river and like goes under like the biggest tree and shuts off the headlights. And I'm like, what's happening? And he's like, Turkish air, Turkish air. I'm like, I don't understand you, because he only speaks Kurdish. And he's like, Turkish air, like Turkish army air. I'm like, oh, there's like Turkish warplanes above us, and like they can blow us at any second. So I'm like looking at the guys in the back, like, dude, it's all fun and games until this happens. But they take us up to some hillside, and they like put us all on like different small hills. And like this Australian guy comes out of the dark out of nowhere. He's like, you're probably wondering why you're on this hill by yourself, don't you? I'm like, yeah, you think? And he's like, basically their strategy is like, pay attention. If the missile's coming from this direction, try to go on this side of the hill. You got about 10 seconds. I'm like, what kind of a tactic is that?
Ooh.
But it turns out it wasn't Turks coming to bomb us. It was actually U.S. warplanes going past us to bomb ISIS in Mosul. And it's very difficult because even though the U.S. supported us, actually they didn't support the group I was with then. I didn't know I was going to be with these guys. I got passed off. But later on, like there would be U.S. warplanes coming out of Incirlik Air Base and Turkish warplanes, and the Americans be coming to help us, and the Turks be coming to bomb us. It was freaking wild, dude. Same air base. So, but anyway, I spent like 8 days in these mountains, man, and started flipping rocks. They told me like where the minefields were. Like it was pretty crazy. I started getting large whip snakes, Dahl's whip snakes, long nose worm snakes, Eurasian blind snakes, like all of these beautiful things. My commander saw a wolf. He saw a bear. Like the wildlife there was really, really cool. And all I could think about was like someday like this place is gonna be like where I come back to. And unfortunately, that mountain itself was completely set on fire, and then Turkey built a road and like came and took all the trees to sell for firewood. So like it's just gone. But last year I did go back to Iraqi Kurdistan, and it was like this 50-year record of like bad rain. Like, of course, you know how that is. So again, all we are getting is the fossorials, the targets.
Mm.
But it's cool. We flipped a freaking landmine at one point. Um, we went up to my buddy's old um, village, and everyone's like, "Don't go there. Don't go because of the drones." But that was the time when like the PKK had got a bunch of like missiles and stuff, and they were like shooting the drones out of the sky. So we had like a 2 week period where there was like no drones. So we went way up in the mountains, hoping to get Montevipera radi, like the Kurdistan viper, Armenian viper. But it was just too cold. It was sick. But anyway, so now
Uh,
we've got plans to.
yeah, I was gonna say
Huh? Okay,
that is a crazy story.
it's pretty wild, man.
That's pretty
And
nutty, man. Living on the edge yet again.
Mhm.
I was gonna say someone like looks like you has tattoos stuff like that. I gotta imagine the Kurds are looking at you like, is this guy some sort of spook or maybe you're just watching one too many
It's
spy shows?
it's not so bad because I cover up the tattoos, especially since I have a few Kurdish militia tattoos, which is a terrible idea. So so now like you don't know who's looking at it because it could be Turkish spy or ISIS or just the wrong Kurdish political party, anything. But I cover those up. My beard is pretty trim the way a Kurd might have it now. Um, and I very often get like a lot of people see that I'm a foreigner, but a lot of people ask if I'm Kurdish too. So I have just enough olive skin. And recently I went to my first like purposeful war zone wildlife project. I went to Lebanon back in May.
Really?
Go see Ram. Yeah, it's amazing. Rami Kasha, who
Yeah.
Instagram is
Yeah.
Herping Lebanon. You know him? Yeah, great
Oh,
dude. Yeah.
my buddy does. My buddy's Lebanese. That's
Oh
ironic.
no way.
Yeah.
Okay, that's yeah, dude. If you ever get a chance, it's the prettiest Middle Eastern country I've ever been to.
Mhm.
Morocco might give it a run for its money, but it's not in. It's just way different. If that makes sense.
Sure.
Way drier. Um,
So
well, I hung out with him and
got to see
Chevy and
the
Hamza.
viper there.
What's that?
You got to see the viper there. Was it Montevipera?
Yeah, poor Mueller eye.
Oh,
Yeah,
wow.
it's a mouthful. Yeah, I got to see that one. I didn't get to see the Palestinian viper or the blunt nose viper, but I got the rarest one, which is cool. Rami knows his stuff so well. When I
Oh,
say we went on a road trip around Lebanon, I mean we went on a road trip around Lebanon, man. We hit we hit the mountains, then we went into the Bekaa Valley, which which is just infamous. Like it's full of vineyards and marijuana fields. It's like if you took like Medellin, Colombia, and like Napa Valley, California, and put it in one place.
sick.
It's the stronghold for Hezbollah, who Israel was fighting just before that, and is still doing daily drone strikes. The PKK or the Kurdish militia used to be there. This has a huge ISIS invaded for a little bit in 2014, 2015, somewhere around there. Like there's a lot of stuff that's going on there. But we went in, and my buddy's like, I can't believe you didn't get stopped at any checkpoints. He's like, you look just Lebanese enough. We
Uh,
didn't get stopped. So we got like the Syrian cat snake. We got some really cool agamas. We got the chameleon. A lot of really cool stuff. We're in the snow, like in the mountains, and dropped down in the desert. We went to North Lebanon all the way to like the Syrian border. We were so close to the Syrian border, and he wanted to go look for a certain snake that was maybe only in the river at the border. It's just a little too sketchy right now. And then we dropped down all the way into the south, where like everything was blown up and bombed. And we met up his buddy Hamza, and like just going to his house, like all the houses nearby had some damage, burned out cars. Uh, we pull up to this place to go herping, and it's a blown up like building material factory. So maybe they hit it because they didn't want to make it in tunnels or whatever. And we get out, and you hear the Israeli drones like buzzing over us, and I was like, "Yeah, it's fine." But then, like later, I'm looking in this little well, but the well is so you don't see anything except for like a square hole. I'm like, "That's the weirdest well." And all I could think was like, "You know what that looks like to a drone? That's a freaking tunnel, man." You know what I mean? I didn't think about it till later. But nothing happened, man. We had a great day. We got like the European legless lizard, the Levantine subspecies, so it's like darker and bigger than any of the other
yeah,
ones. Like
yeah.
it was really good. And then later in the day, we're having sushi, and like going through some old ruins and seeing sea turtles. Like it was such like a cool experience of like different like danger, but it's actually quite normal. And that's what we wanted to do for the wildlife project to show like, yeah, there is some danger, but there's also like you could have a completely normal experience in these places.
Yeah, so this would be a bit more of a step above the typical safari touring that you're usually doing. Just a
Yeah,
bit.
yes, yeah. This is something I would love to host tours to, but it's also like it's kind of scary, like just from a liability like standpoint.
Yeah.
Yeah, but we got big plans, and I'll tell you guys without much. I hate to say stuff ahead of time because then when you don't do it, you look like such an idiot. But I'll just give you my dream destination, and some of these almost certainly will happen next year. We're gonna do like definitely back in the Kurdistan region. Like that's just place that place has my heart because of all the stuff we went through, like in the war. Like I'm trying to go there every year, every 2 years. But you're also going to Iraq proper, hopefully. We're like really working on getting that set up and for some really cool snake species that have barely been recorded. And then if we can swing it, there's also some spots on the Iranian border, Iraqi Kurdistan. We're also going to look for some rare species where they've never been recorded. But man, when you look at the habitat and you look at suggested range maps, it's always like a
Looks
question
prime.
mark.
Yeah.
It looks prime, but it's small and they're all military areas. There's nowhere we can just rock up and go. And then I worry about mines. I worry about drones. Just like going to look for the Armenian Viper in the other area, we worry about Turkish drones. Some of these areas might have Iranian drones. They're not hardly ever doing strikes, but there are some anti-Iranian Kurdish militias operating in some of those areas. And I don't understand who's where very well. It's quite confusing, actually. But I talked to some locals. They're like, we don't even go to those areas. We want to go look too. So that's not a good sign. But the potential for like first time records in Iraq are huge, huge. Also Afghanistan, looking at Afghanistan because that's just so unexplored. And then
I mean, isn't the
you
Taliban trying to start up tourism in Afghanistan
yeah, they
recently?
said they're not going to kidnap anymore. That was part of
Anymore is the key
yeah.
word there. It's like
I swear that was part of their campaign. Like, we don't kidnap anymore. You can
I
come
think
here
yeah,
as a
I've seen that
tourist.
ad. I've seen that ad. Yeah.
But it's pretty good ad. We're still talking about it like a year later, 2 years later.
Yeah. Still,
And-
I'd rather be the fourth or fifth person off the plane instead of the first.
yes, exactly. Yeah. Never know. Never know who's going to be around. Like when I flew to Turkey, very scared because I was going to go to join the Kurds and they're not a fan of the militia I was with. Um, the guy who sat next to me, I think in Chicago, we flew to Ontario or something first and then Istanbul. And just an American dude, like corn-fed, Ohio like dude, right? Had a beard like yours, but with no
I
mustache.
I was not there. I was not there. I swear.
Hold on, hold on.
Key difference, no mustache.
Where were you? Oh, no.
Probably some Mennonite.
yeah,
But
yeah. Now, like literally, picture you, Nate, with no mustache, and I was like, he's got kind of like a jihadist mustache. But
no,
here's the crazy
if
part.
it's from Ohio, that is not a Muslim. That is a Mennonite. So
Okay, yeah. Well, when I came back from the country, my brother had just randomly shaved his mustache. I'm like, what are you, ISIS now too? Like, he got back from the war. But anyway, I digress. So
Went from
I had
Homie to
spot
Habibi.
some soup. Oh, wait to that BBL. I'm gonna steal that. I like that.
What the
But yeah, I noticed the guy, so I'm super paranoid because I don't know like if I'm gonna get in trouble for doing this because this is my first time going, and I'm just worried about who's around me and everything. And I'm going to Turkey, who if they figured it out would be a big problem. So I had a whole fake herping trip down to the details done for Turkey just in case I got questioned. But I see this guy and he's in line. He's got blue jeans on, like a normal button-up shirt. But I can see he's got like tan combat boots on. I was like, that's just enough outside of baseline that I'm going to stay away from that dude. It just popped out to me. Anyway, I get on the plane, I get to my seat, and I look who's sitting next to me. I'm like, no freaking way. The guy with the freaking combat boots on, and it's the Ohio corn-fed boy with no mustache. And then, then I found out he was Muslim, but I didn't think anything of it because we had Muslims fighting with us. You know what I mean? Like, didn't think anything of it. But then he started asking me weird questions. And then he's like, hey, have you ever been to southern Turkey before? I'm like, no, it's my first time. I don't know what I thought. He's like, man. He's like, do you have any idea how to get around southern Turkey? I'm like, it's nowhere near to where we're flying to, right?
yeah.
And I'm like, no. He's like, I just don't know what I'm getting myself into. Like, what is this ominous line of questioning? I don't know if he's trying to bait me into saying something, but like it was like weird, right? It was super weird. Like, why is he telling me he's going to like the southern part of Turkey? And so now, anyway, we get off the plane. I'm like, I'm making distance from this dude. And he's going through, and I'm like, okay, what is everyone else doing? I was like, everyone's checking their phone for Wi-Fi. So I check my phone for Wi-Fi. I'm just trying to blend in. And then, like, you're walking down a little corridor or whatever it is when you get off the plane. I see 5 or 6 dudes, and you can tell by the way they're standing that they are cops or see it like the their version of the CIA. I can't remember what it's called
Some
now,
sort
but
of intelligence.
MIT, yeah. So I'm like,
Wait,
oh
the
god,
tech bros?
huh?
The tech bros?
Yeah, yeah, tech bros now. Very different MIT. Uh, and then the guy in the boots gets up to him and they grab him and take him somewhere. So it wasn't in my head. It was something.
Mhm.
And then, but nothing happened to me. But like, dude, that guy was either. I thought for a while he's going to join us, but then I thought he's probably going to the Free Syrian Army, or he's going to join ISIS. He's going to do. He's doing something enough to land on their radar before he even got in the country. So that was way off topic from snakes, but that was part of the experience, guys.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But yeah, so Assyria is very high on my wish list, but I want to do it northeast Syria where we fought. And guys, like the land is overgrazed. The former two administrations back ordered every tree to be cut down in all northeastern Syria, and you weren't allowed to have a tree. You could only plant wheat. It was like some weird program he had. So super degraded habitat. Not a lot in the way of mountains. I don't know what species would be there. Certainly like blunt nose vipers, maybe Walternisia aegyptica or morgani, however you want to classify it. Like the false, like it's a lapid, but it's not a cobra. It's very similar. Um, I don't think you're going to have hyenas and stuff that make it there, but they come very close. Bears come very close. There's potential for a little corridor for like a wildlife project along the Tigris River there. But it's a bad situation. But I love to go at least try to get some herping in. But the amount of IEDs and mines that are there is insane. At least with IEDs, they mostly don't use lithium batteries there, so like those are going to like not work for very long. Most of them, those are probably like defunct. But if it's like a military style mine, those could be there for 50 years, 100 years, you know. And I'd be pissed if I lost a leg outside of a war. You know what I mean? I'd be so pissed.
That would
You
suck.
you wouldn't want to end up like the director in Tropic Thunder.
Exactly, exactly. But that's how I think of it. I love that movie. That would get me through.
Yeah, but yeah,
Uh,
that whole
and
that whole story just reminds me of that one recent story of that one British bicyclist who just happened to he was trying to bicycle from Thailand to the UK and he just happened to be passed through Kathmandu as Nepalese people were overthrowing their government and he just became a war journalist overnight because of it. So
I saw that guy. Like he's freaking out, right?
yeah, it's like
Yeah.
all of a sudden he's in
Yeah.
the plot line for Uncharted 2 or something.
Oh my gosh. Well, hopefully there's some success stories with some of these countries. Like certainly a big one for me personally was when Rupert came on and talked about his southern Philippines herping, going for the southern Philippines Tropidolaemus, and then maybe another one that's yet to be described, Tawi Tawi. I'm probably because he did that, I saw it. I'm probably gonna go Mindanao, that island where we can get the was it Southern Philippine pit viper, whatever you want to call it. Um, that was a war zone in 2017. The Battle of Marawi was a huge battle. Like the city was destroyed. And at the time, I was herping Thailand and like Indonesia and Komodo and stuff. But I'd already gone to Syria once, and I was living with so much guilt for not being back there. But here I'm like having the time of my life herping, and I was like, man, they're fighting Marawi and everything. And actually, on that trip, I decided to go back and to Syria. And man, dude, the day I crossed back into Syria from 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 Iraqi Kurdistan was the day that Iraq was fighting against the Iraqi Kurds. The Iraqi army was fighting against the Iraqi Kurds. The capital of ISIS in Syria fell that day, and also the city of Marawi fell back to Philippine forces that day, October 17th. Man, I'll never forget it. And ever since then, it just tied into like such like burnt in experiences in my life that I was like, I got to go there just like I did Kurdistan to go herp. So I want to hit Mindanao bad. I'll probably go after Borneo next year. Uh, and the Ripper did it. It's safe. That's a success story. That's a place where like everyone would 5 years ago. There's no way in hell people would go there, and now maybe it's going to open back up. And all it takes is like a few herpers to go, or some dude on Tally Tally to be like, you know what? I'm going to make a little side gig of hosting safaris, and it could be the same thing where like he knows people at the field, just like Alfar in Uganda, and like, dude, don't cut this down. I'll pay you a little bit every month or year to keep it open, and like that could be a huge thing.
Yeah.
And a lot of fun.
Yeah, but speaking about Uganda, that reminded me. I'm sure Bryant, just like me, you grew up watching that. What do they call it? Search for the Super Croc or Killer Croc or whatever. That one, Nate PBS Nature documentary about Gustav.
Gustav, yeah.
Okay,
So like
yeah.
Rwanda and Burundi just looks like such a cool place to go someday. The Great Lakes, African Great Lakes region. That's also another high up on my list.
Ethiopia, sure.
Definitely. Don't they have a couple? They got Nile crocs, but maybe West African crocs there too. I think just barely into Uganda, just barely.
Maybe Uganda. I think they get into Ethiopia, at least historically.
Or is it a dwarf croc? I'm thinking of. I know there's more than one.
Osceolatus does get into Uganda. I know that much.
That's what I was thinking of. Speaking of weird places, I brought that up earlier because I wanted to see if you guys had any new ideas. I probably won't do any of these because I'm so focused on snakes. But dude, crocodiles in caves, what the hell? Around the world, crocodiles in caves. And have you ever seen like that place in Chad? It's like the Inedi Mastiff or something, Mastiff? Inedi Mastiff, I think it's called. So you look at Chad, there's Lake Chad region, which is another crazy war zone area, but like kind of semi-arid, a little more like forest in the south. You get to the north, it's just the Sahara Desert. But there's this area where it's just like flat tabletop mountains with deep gorges in them. And you get like a relic population of like, I think West African crocs in there and a few other places in Sahara. I think Mauritania has some. Dude, how cool would that be to be in the middle of a desert and see crocodiles?
Yeah.
It'd be unreal, man. I mean, we grew up watching, Michael Shea's Big Adventure, or at least I did a little bit. And I remember that one episode. I don't know if it's the same lake, but like you mentioned, catching crocs in caves is a pretty unreal experience to be at.
Dude, is this stuff still up on YouTube or anything? O'Shea's?
Some of his episodes, and if you have Amazon Prime, you at least get two seasons worth.
No way! How do I not know this? Okay, I know what I'm doing tonight. Canceling my date.
Yeah, man, just binge watch it tonight, dude.
Yeah, I don't have a date. I wish.
I wasn't going to say anything, but
You're like, don't BS us.
Yeah, but I remember reading some article somewhere about how the Sahara used to be green, and there's like apparently this one gorge in the middle of the desert in like Libya or something like that, southern Libya or something like that, that has ancient cedar trees.
That's it.
Yeah. So you know what to talk about. Those,
Wait, no.
Maybe.
Nope, that's wrong. It has ancient cedar trees. I jumped ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, like 4,000, 5,000, 6,000-year-old cedar trees in this one little gorge with an oasis, but they can't reproduce or germinate because the air doesn't get humid enough for them to pollinate each other. So there's just these ancient trees that have just been staying there ever since the last time the Sahara was green.
Relictual.
Whoa. Well, send me that if you see it, and I'll try to send you a clip of these crocodiles. Yeah, in the desert, man. So much to do, guys. So little time.
Yeah, is it
a little money?
Yeah. Like I was gonna say, is it Mauritania or it's another one of those West African countries where they have that one lake where people just basically become associated with the West African crocs there? That West African crocs basically part of the community, and people could just walk up to them all the time, stuff like that.
Yeah, and they live in little like tunnels or something. Yeah. So freaking cool.
Yeah. All right, gotta step away real quick.
Go for it, man. So what's next on the docket in terms of travel for you?
Oh man, bro, so much. I'm probably about to have, besides the going to war twice, probably about to have the most epic trip of my life. So maybe the most enjoyable trip of my life. So pretty soon I drive to Oklahoma to see my brother, drop off my car for a few months. Uh, and then I fly to South Africa. We're going to host uh, a safari in South Africa in Eswatini, but instead of like the normal safari, like hands-on conservation stuff, or as like close as we can get to it, swimming with sharks, trimming the horn on a rhinoceros, collaring a lion, like changing the batteries on a collar. Excuse me, I keep burping this damn cokes, man. um,
You get back on those
uh,
Celsius.
oh, tell you what, dude, like I got off Celsius, but now I drink like 10 of these a day. But I shedded weight because anytime I'm like I need chocolate or carbs, dude, I just drink a Coke Zero. Dude, I got a six pack in like 2 months from that. It's insane. I'm 44 with almost a six pack. Like it's a Coke Zero is the way, guys. Even at night, I'll drink the non-caffeinated ones. Like that's a life hack right there. Um, but anyway, after that, I have like a day in Dubai, and I've got all the venomous snakes there and stuff. I got the sand boa, I got the false cobra, I've got most of the good stuff, but I haven't been there during the daytime. So we're gonna go for Egyptian neuromastics during the day. And then I fly to India. We host 10 days in India. So tigers and leopards, but are also going for gharial and mugger crocodiles,
Ooh.
which I'm really excited about.
You
I
mentioned that
haven't,
too. So you've already scouted what multiple times to
I
India?
went I went once in 2023, swore I would never go again. But the wildlife is so good. But man, like if you like being interrogated, like we
Oh,
leave our
yeah.
hotel, I'm like, where are you going? Who are you gonna be with? When are you coming back? Oh, you're my dad? What is happening? This is the weirdest thing. Or like
I'll be
the
sure to
guide
tell
who
my
took
brother
us to
that.
yeah,
No,
is he going?
literally, like 2 days from now, like Thursday is when his flight leaves.
He's gonna hate it and then he's gonna want to go back. That's what everyone does with India. It's a weird thing, it's like a drug. I don't know what it is. Um, and then after that, I have 2 weeks in Lira Khao Sok National Park in Thailand. I'm really fallen in love with crates in the last few years, so we go for more red-headed crates and stuff like that. Then I got a week in Krabi, so I'll go for like mangrove pit vipers, the Malayan crate, beautiful pit viper, a bunch of other snakes. And then I fly to Sumatra. I'm going to meet up with some guys, uh, and we're going to do all the Sumatran stuff. Like too much to list, but like Craspencephalus, most of the leaf nose vipers, like Toba pit viper, Gonolans, Sumatran pit viper. I mean, there's just so much. A bunch of like Calliopus, the coral snakes, king cobras there. Um, this is spitting cobras. There's like so much. There's so much in Sumatra. It looks really, really, really good. And of course, like dragon snakes and things like that. And then you got elephants and tigers and orangutans. And then that ends up being in December. I'm just like killing time until our Uganda safari in January. I talked to Rupert. He might want to meet up. I hate to say this, but potentially in Sarawak. We'll see if it happens. So not to rub it in, but it kind of depends on Rupert.
Best
If
of luck,
Rupert's gonna
man.
go Sarah.
That'd be
Uh,
awesome.
yeah, I
Yeah, you
might have to
should.
hit up your buddy, man.
Yeah, I was about
But
to
I think
say.
Rupert's only about the snakes.
Yeah, I was gonna say you should probably hit him up. Thing is, they like are opening up a safari lodge at the town he's in, and so he's basically trying to
Mm,
encourage ecotourism to that town. You know, as a
okay.
conservation effort. So,
Dude, that's awesome.
yeah, I'll shoot him a message and tell him to send you a message. See if you get you guys linked up.
That would be great. That'd be great. Maybe if I just book it there, then Rupert will just come. Because I think he's not sure where he wants to go right now.
I think we mentioned it on the app with James, but yeah, maybe the more spotlighting certain regions, whether you take the pros and cons away, I think for certain regions and species like Temissima, it'd probably be more of a pro than a con
Yes.
because so few
Yes.
people know about them and much less
Yeah.
care.
Are these areas under threat? I mean, obviously, I know, like, with the oil
Big time.
palms is pretty obvious. But what do
Yeah.
they do with the peat swamps? They probably drain them, don't they? They want to drain them.
Yeah.
Damn. I was like, what do you do with the swamp? Oh yeah, you freaking drain
Yes,
it.
same thing that happens to
Oh man.
wetlands the world over.
Yep. Yep.
So,
Man, I would love to go somewhere with you guys. So just because you're croc guys, and I don't know anything about crocs, but like it is the animal group after snakes that I appreciate the most. So I mean, it's cool to see you guys get excited too.
I mean, snakes for me definitely edge out crocs, but it's just because
Okay.
we're both Midwesterners. Nate has more experience, obviously, but I mean, Archosaurs and like superior Archosauruses. Nate always
Yes, yes.
likes
Thank
to.
you.
Yeah, I mean, it is
Sucks they get lumped in.
it's relatively true, but yeah, freaking love.
Where do you guys live?
Like I said, both
Go
Midwesterners, so that doesn't really narrow it down. But yeah, I'm from Ohio, and
and
Brian's
in
from.
Illinois here.
Oh no, yeah. There's shockingly. I've never been up there, but there's shockingly good herping up in those areas, like diversity.
Yeah. It,
Especially what was it? Southern Ohio, Southern Illinois gets so, like super
Yeah,
diverse.
I don't like to toot the state's horn, but yeah, Southern Illinois, super diverse. Obviously, you got the Shawnee, and then the infamous Snake Road, that's where you see tons
Hmm.
of cottonmouths and whatnot. But even up I mean, Central Illinois, the herping's a little bit harder to come by, but early, like spring, early summer, it's pretty solid.
Dude, you can't beat Midwest in spring, man. April, May, depending on the place. My
Yes,
gosh.
yeah.
Yeah. Even in Oklahoma, Kansas is good. People laugh at
Oh,
Kansas. This is good.
yeah.
Numbers
well,
wise.
Kansas has gotten popular with online herpers over the years. I mean, I myself have gravitated. I would love to go, and even Oklahoma. Oh, I like the
Hmm.
Yeah. Kansas is a bit of a meme state, though. It's like, only one herping in Kansas. What you saw? What did you see? I saw 500 Western hog noses and nothing else.
Just gray ringnecks. Yeah. Goodness, they're insane. Even as a kid, I get angry at the ringnecks. Like, out here in California, they're like considered like a good snake. Like, oh man, I got a ringneck. And they should be. They look gorgeous, but when you see like 100 a day, like,
I mean, there is a
yeah.
difference.
Yeah.
I like the bigger stuff too. So the bigger, the regal ringnecks, they're cool.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Dude, first time I saw one of those, I thought my buddy was lying. I'm like, no, what is that? He's holding it up. I was like, who's a freaking ringneck? Do you guys have anything bucket list wise in the States that you're trying to do?
Just
Oh,
like you, a lot.
so
Hmm.
many. I think for both of us, Hortus, the Timbers, is pretty high up on both our lists. So,
Okay.
what,
Yeah.
which you get those in Oklahoma, right? Like Eastern Oklahoma.
Yeah, I mean they're Hortus now, but they used to be the cane breaks. Yeah, I've got them in like southeastern Oklahoma. Yeah,
Yeah.
pretty cool. There's another spot near me I want to go, like close to where I grew up, man. Like there's so many snakes close to where I grew up that I never found because I have like my 5 spots and I just hit those 1,000 times. And
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
back before the internet. So
Yeah. But yeah, for like some well, still a few hour drives away, but some localish stuff would be for me be eastern fox snakes, Lake Erie
mm.
water snakes. This which is a recurring theme on this channel, but uh,
That's its
Should
own
be.
subspecies, isn't it?
yeah, it's why am I blanking on the genus name? Nerodia Cipodon insularum. So
Nice, nice. Dude. That's how it is. You get on the podcast, your brain's like just melt. It just melts sometimes.
It always does.
so,
Yeah.
but yeah,
Hasn't.
that's a big one. I mean, Eastern hogs. That'd be
Mhm.
was it Platyrhinus? Is that it?
Yep. Yep.
Mhm.
Those would be really high up on my list as well, especially because in Southeast Ohio you have those very famous orange phase, Halloween phase
Real pretty.
hognose.
Mm.
Oh,
Which
oh man.
Brian, didn't you find one of those in Illinois this past summer?
Well, Johnny and I found like the orange phase last spring, but I remember infamously, I
You
tried
tried
to
to call it
join
from the field.
from the field, and it was pretty terrible, pretty crappy reception. But hey, I got a hog nose out
He
of it,
tried.
so yeah, I did try.
Oh, that's cool. I gotta get out there. I've seen like a couple of phases, the melanistic one where I kind of grew up, and then one in like West Texas, but still eastern. But not nowhere near like those black and orange ones you guys get.
Those are pretty. You guys also get pits in Oklahoma, like bull snakes too.
Yes, yeah, yeah.
Bull snakes, coach whips, pretty
Mhm.
cool stuff. Even collared
Yeah.
lizards, for Christ's sake.
Yeah, we get the eastern collared lizard. Yeah, we get a lot of species like in the states, same with Texas, because we'll get the eastern and the western. A lot of things like the hog nose, the coach whips. So many species will get the eastern and western forms. It's kind of cool actually.
It is
The
pretty.
change from like when you're right on the border of eastern Oklahoma, you get a lot of pretty wet forest, a lot of salamanders, a lot of eastern species. Get down to the southeast, you can get alligators and stuff, mud snakes, all those things. And then you get out west and you get some true western species. So it's a pretty diverse state.
Yeah, it's a nice melting pot. I kind of relate the same with Missouri. You know, it's Southwest to me. It's like the furthest east you get for collared lizards, and that's where I got my collared lizards a couple of years ago. I was really
Nice.
hyped about that.
Good, epic. My mom swore she saw a dinosaur. And I was like, "It's a colored lizard."
They are little dinosaurs for sure.
Yeah,
Just
yeah.
like to see that. That's sweet, man. Well,
Mhm.
look, I wanted to touch on a little bit more of India. Just did you get to see Gario's first trip
Yeah,
out there?
yeah. So we
Oh
went out
man.
there. We
Oh, lucky duck.
we're just ruining Nate's night.
No, we're inspiring him. That's what we're doing.
Yes, yes, that's what we're doing. Yeah, we me and my buddy David, we just went to go scout for the safaris, and we got tigers. We had a really good host, but otherwise we were quite frustrated with India. It was just leaving little things like, "Hey, can you stop at that store for the restaurant for us to eat?" The driver would be like, "No, I like this other restaurant better." Like that's
Oh,
India in a nutshell. Like we hired you. Like or like pull over to we gotta pee. Like anyway, for like 2 hours, nothing. I swear. And then like he's like, I don't know. And then like 2 hours in, he's like, "Hey, you guys gotta go to the bathroom?" Like in perfect English. And I'm like, "I'm gonna fucking kill you, dude." Um but anyway, I had a pretty good guy. We go out on this river and saw a bunch of mugger crocodiles, like quite a few of them actually. A lot of really big, some species of soft shells. We saw mango monitors on the shores. Really, really cool. It's like November, so terrible time of year to herp. It's like hazy and kind of cool, but a great day to like be out on the water and just makes the sun dapple through. So everything's out basking because it's not too hot. And and we probably like an hour down the river, and like he's like, "We gotta turn around soon." And I'm like, "No, tell me we didn't come all the way here in Nogario." And then like off in the distance, we see like, man, it had to been like a 12 or more foot long gargoyle, big gargoyle. They get huge, I guess, but like no way. And they were quite shy though. They'd slip in the water pretty quickly. The muggers seemed to be a little more confident, and the gargoyles were a little more skittish. But we saw about seven of them, and a couple of them slip in the water and then like lift their head up with the snout and the mouth kind of open, and just super cool looking, man. I think we saw six of them, all adults. And I just remember leaving that place, just man, it's a weird feeling of just being so satisfied. Like how
well,
often
that's
are you like
great.
that satisfied? Yeah.
Well, you might have given us
So
a pro tip. I mean, is that kind of normal weather conditions for November? It's kind of cool.
it is, yeah. I don't know if that's the best time, but everything was out. Like maybe one croc was in the water. The turtles were out, the monitors were out, the crocs were all out basking. Terrible time of year to herp, but maybe for river stuff, it's actually like the key. Yeah, yeah. November is classically very hazy there. And it still get warm in the day, like up to like in the 80s, but pretty cool at night, like way down to like the 50s, maybe even cooler. Yeah,
Yeah, pro tip
big
for
fluctuation.
for
Yeah. So we
Australian
we
turtle
go
nut.
we go back we go back in November. So I'll let you guys know how that goes as well. See if it's see how consistent it is to get them. But it doesn't cost a lot either. Maybe you can pay like $50 to go out on this cruise. It's not a whole lot. I think we pay one something for two people.
So, you touched on multiple times on scouting, and Nate and I also have somewhat of an inkling when it comes to this. So when you do scouting for different countries, you basically research tour guides, like naturalistic tour guides. Is that kind of the case, or what's your
Yeah, it's tough because to do a real proper scout the way I would want to do it would be sort of outside my budget because I'd have to go to like a good tour company, book their tour by myself, which means like I'm not getting a group rate, which is how we get our tours so much cheaper because we're bringing so many people. We do all the hard work on that part, but then tweaking the tour to where it's better than a normal tour. Otherwise, people can just figure it out themselves, maybe pay a little extra money because they don't have a big group. Uh, we're trying to, so I'm trying to like find someone that has something good already, make it better, and they can also do like a big group discount. So, and I'm trying to hurt myself in between. So it's quite difficult. I almost don't have any advice for you guys other than sometimes I panic because things sell out. So I book a bunch of days here and a bunch of days there. You don't need a bunch of days most places. It'd be better if you're scouting to do maybe no more than 2 nights in one place. Because what I've often done is like, I got this figured out. I booked 7 nights and now I'm leaving and I wasted 5 nights worth of money. So I'd say about 2 nights in any one place. Even if you're moving just down the river, maybe get a really cheap place and then you go to a nicer place the next night and just you see get more variety. And I promise you, it's going to suck because you're moving so much and you're missing out on days where you can get stuff done. But you need to see the lodge. You need to see if you can do stuff by yourself after dark when there's no tours, and you need to meet enough people that understand that you want to offer like something to your clients that's more than what they normally offer. Because they need to want to go with you guys. They need to want to go with Nate. Are you Don or Brian? What do you go by?
I'm Bryant.
Okay, you had something else on your Instagram.
I know it's confusing. This is my other alias.
Okay, yeah. But these guys they're gonna want to go with Nate and Brian. They're gonna want to be with you guys, but they also want to know that you made something special for them that they couldn't have done if they did it themselves. So, but also take some time for yourself to go herping or whatever you want to do.
Well, maybe
Yeah.
I like you. I kind of relate to that where probably need to go multiple trips to like in a perfect world scenario, you want to go multiple
Mhm.
trips and have multiple times to scout around and either same areas or different areas. But
Yeah.
sometimes
It's not practical.
it's not practical and it's not budget friendly for the most parts.
No. But keep in mind, you can write all these things off, whether you start an LLC or you just do it. There's another way to do it without even starting an LLC. I forgot what it's called, but basically you're a sole proprietor by yourself. You can write all these things off, and it's separate from your separate from your personal taxes. But look into it. But if you don't have any money coming in yet, like it's your first scout, you might have to start an LLC. Otherwise, like you don't have anything to write off the money against. So, because it can't count towards your personal taxes. You need an accountant for all this, but just something to think about because being able to write it off helps a lot.
Yeah. I was gonna say, towards the end of our Colombia trip, me, Brian, and two other guys we were with were like, "Man, we got to save up. We need to get 20 acres of land somewhere down here, and just start our own place down here to do stuff with. Start our own herping tour company. He could do the birds, whatever. You know,
Mhm.
let the inferior Arkansas fans have their day, I guess. But which before we start a tour company, I'd need to start a T-shirt, but just, you're muted. That doesn't say anything. Check your mic.
Nope.
Uh, Still nothing. So
Yeah, the little mute cut, the little no microphone button keeps coming up on yours.
okay, maybe your microphone might have died. I don't know, but so yeah. Anyways, yeah. So now that Bryant's no longer able to join the conversation, let's start talking smack about Bryant, right?
Yeah, this freaking Brian guy. Let me tell you what. Nothing but issues.
I mean, did you see the zoo Terra, the whatever enclosure he made for his Chinese king rat? Man, what only a loser would do something cool like that, right?
What was he thinking?
Yeah, but yeah,
He's just scowling at us. So, you're gonna start your own like lodge.
maybe. Uh, Alex, just like we were kind of punting around. Oh, I heard something.
There we go.
Yeah, thanks to you guys rambling. I forgot what I was going to mention. So, yeah.
Hey, we had to kill the time somehow.
He was talking about that lodge putting together with the birders and
yeah. I mean, it would be cool. That's why I still have the idea of still. I mean, most likely I will be back in Colombia next summer. Hopefully Nate too. But just logistics. We'll see. So many plans.
I was going to say if not 2026, then 2027 is a definite for me. So
yeah.
What
But
is
like
it
you
about
said, maybe
Colombia?
kind of like what I alluded to beforehand. It doesn't seem to be talked about too much in circles.
Mhm.
Seems relatively underrated, under the radar. And I mean, it's crazy diverse. I mean, we talk about the inferior Archosaurus birds, but I myself am becoming a bit more of a birder. It's super diverse for birds, reptiles galore. And I mean, on our last night, we also managed to see a capybara of all things, like a huge
Nice.
one too, like way bigger than I expected them to be in
Yeah, I was just
person.
on the road.
Yeah, I mean, we
Oh,
all were
so
like,
cool.
we were gobsmacked. Like that thing must have been over 100 pounds at least.
Yeah.
Especially,
Huge.
especially considering what happened earlier that night. I was like, night redeemed, but
Well, a few things redeemed us that night, but yeah, that was crazy night to be our last night. Real crazy.
yeah, but
Oh
like
man, I gotta get out there.
yeah, you talk about diversity. I mean, birds alone, like I make my jokes, but I also enjoy birding a little bit here and there as well. Uh, but you talk about the other Archosaurus crocodilians. There's what 4 species, maybe 5 species of crocodilian native to Colombia. You got Orinoco's, Crocodilus, which spectacles, both species of Paleosuchus and black caiman, all in the same country. So
Black
Nice.
or American, you mean?
oh, and America too on the coast as well. So that bumps up to 6.
Ooh,
Yeah, there you go. And
that's a
also,
lot.
weather conditions. We kind of got the crapshoot. We were at the tail end of the dry season, and we just missed the rainy season by like legit like a couple days, if not a week. So it's like
Yep.
we were almost at the primo time, but I mean that's just how it goes.
You can never
You
time
can't
those
plan
up.
those things. Yeah.
No, you can't. Yeah, but now we do know something though. We definitely need to check lunar cycles.
Yeah,
100%.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
maybe you believe in that philosophy where if
Man.
it's a full moon, you can potentially see stuff, but it's probably not going to be productive.
The age-old debate. I think if no one would have ever mentioned the moon to me, I never would have noticed it. So it's not that huge. It seems like maybe in the desert. But I've had guys that live in the jungle like, yeah, it's full moon is no good tonight. So
yeah.
the
I've
opinions. I've had great nights with the full moon though. I've had epic nights with the full moon.
Well, it's funny you say the desert. Go for it, Nate.
Yeah, I was gonna say I've made this argument or observation before that I think it might be environmental. I have a large part to play in the effect that lunar cycles have on herping, because you have something in the desert that's just used to having nothing over
No
them at night.
canopy.
They're
Yeah,
used to having
yeah.
all sorts of light all the time. A full moon's not really going to change up what they're doing. Whereas if you look at something that's like say sub canopy forest floor in a rainforest where it's dark and all of a sudden just 1-2 nights a month and it just has the most amount of light ever,
Mm,
and all of a sudden they're like, "What's going on? I feel exposed. I feel vulnerable compared to how I feel the other 85-90% of the month. I'm just going to hunker down and ride this out." Maybe I haven't herped either the desert or the tropics long enough for my opinion to be super valid, but from what I've heard from other herpers, that seems like a valid argument to me at least.
There seems to be a consensus
yeah.
for sure.
Yeah. Well, here's a weird one I didn't realize until a few years ago. Normally, I consider wind to not be a good thing for herping. If it's windy, tend not to do as well. But man, I get out in like the desert, like especially like the Mojave Desert. If there's not any wind, it's almost never a good night. I don't know if maybe like there's grasses and things in the desert that are the bushes, everything's moving when there's some wind. So maybe for a visual predator, it's very difficult to spot something crawling when everything's blowing in the wind. Because I can't think of any other reason why wind would be advantageous. But windy nights are consistently way better, even if they're kind of cold. If it's windy out, like we're gonna do well.
Hmm.
I have no idea why.
That's why here for sidewinders out west. If it's not windy, they're not moving.
Those and shovel nose snakes, if they're not blowing across the road, they're just not.
That's so weird. That's so weird.
Yeah,
I have become
I
stick,
don't know.
crosser of roads.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, and I
Drifter.
don't know. Maybe like some of the sidewinders like to pancake during the day, and then they just get the sand getting blown over them or blown away from them, so they move, or if it's just irritating to them, so they move. I don't know, or maybe it's like a cover thing by everything's moving.
Something.
I would love for someone to weigh in on the comments if they have any idea.
Yeah, guys, let us know. Well, there was one more thing I wanted to touch on that was kind of croc related. You got to see a pretty special croc individual, Nile croc in Africa.
Oh yeah,
Some would say the oldest
yeah, Henry,
living croc,
Henry.
Henry.
Yeah, no way to prove it, but I think the story is in whatever early 1903 or whatever, uh, they caught a Nile croc that was about 3 years old, was the best guess, based on size. And so they have a pretty good record of how they know it's at least 120 something years old, which is pretty impressive. Um, and I went to Croc World and like it's like this is Henry, and it is a big freaking crocodile. It is massive, and I think he's fathered some 10,000 young crocodiles, and he's in this pen with like six of his girlfriends. And they
Also, he's
let me get
Mormon.
up on the. Yeah, he's Mormon. Yeah, it's a Mormon croc. Yeah, there's a Mormon racer already, so they must have a Mormon croc. Uh, um, yeah, the guy's like, you've been around crocodiles before? I'm like, yeah, I'm fine. Meaning, like, I can be in the enclosure, like, and then he's like, here, just step over it. And like, now I'm straddling this big croc, and I'm like, dude, what I meant was like, I've messed with a crocodile like once every 2 years. I know enough to get myself killed. I was like, I don't know how to get off of this thing. And apparently, like, Henry is a very fast individual for the size. It's knocked people into the fence with his tail. It hit a guy in the chest, basically almost biting on like there's been some close calls. I can't believe they let me do that. But we're going back to Croc World next month, and we were gonna. I don't know what we're gonna be allowed to do because the guy that let me do that has sold it and moved on, so it's under new management. So
Mm.
I don't think I would ever get that close to Henry again because I really don't know what I'm doing when it comes to Crocs. And what an experience! And like I didn't die, and just to feel that croc when it was like basically roaring at me, and it's the way its back was just all like vibrating was, and I didn't know I was going to do that when I woke up that day.
Yeah, I mean, I mean, would you agree, Nate, that most people don't realize just the depths of vocalization that crocs can do? Because we're used to gators bellowing, but even other crocodilians, they can actually roar and stuff like that.
Yeah. From what I've heard in terms of crocs, crocs are definitely nowhere near as noisy as American alligators. American alligators are
No, I'm not doubting
American,
that,
yeah.
but still the
American
fact that they
alligators are real
do.
chatterboxes compared to all the other species of crocodilians. But in terms of crocs, the most vocal, from what I heard, is Siamensis,
Oh,
which
Oh, neat.
those guys are kind of cool because, like Cubans, they also have a little bit of those brow horns as well, and they're
that'd
also
be cool to see.
really endangered species as well. So, well, then again, you could probably find them in a ton of like croc farms in Southeast Asia and stuff like that.
Right? Can't you get wild ones near like Ho Chi Minh City and stuff like that?
I don't know about Ho Chi Minh City. I think you have to go more like somewhere in Thailand, and
Okay.
I think there might be some populations on Sumatra, but I have to double check.
Oh man, that'd be cool. I need to look that up before I go.
Yeah.
That would just be
Yeah.
insane to
But
see.
like I
Yeah.
know like there's one where they found a nest and they just monitor it. That like a park,
Mhm.
some park somewhere they monitor it because apparently crocs do have a bit of once a female finds a nesting spot, she has a bit of a site fidelity for that nesting site. Cause like I now know a place that doesn't flood, so now I know where to put my eggs. So
Okay.
but
Oh, that's really cool.
so who knows? Maybe if you contact the right people, you might be put on a good spot. But I can't say for certain. I'm not. I'm not the croc kingpin as some people try to
Right.
make me out to be.
It-
Mostly myself.
You'll get
It's
there.
tough in Asia.
You'll get there,
I think it's
Nate.
really tough. Yeah. King, Nate for Kingpin, Croc Kingpin.
Yeah. But
Croc boss.
but like I think I told Brian this observation as well. But I swear every time I see some sort of sketchy tourism croc show with a crocodile, it always looks like it's in Thailand or something like that because I just see the script in the background. It's like that looks like a Southeast Asian script of some sort, and it's always someone doing something stupid, which ends up with their whole arm getting bitten onto by a Siamensis
Mhm.
on, and it's always on some indoor facility with like on blue tile pools and stuff like that. I don't know
Yeah.
why this stereotype is in my head, but I know it's there. So
Yeah, it's a true stereotype.
Yeah,
so
we got the videos to prove it. Yeah.
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 Uh,
I probably would see it just for the dopamine rush, but I don't know. I don't know how I feel about those practices.
Right. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, the same with the snake stuff. Like, it's one thing to show off snakes. It's another thing to pop them on the head repeatedly and then throw them in a car like a wooden box. You know,
Yeah,
they're not doing well at all.
yeah. But
No, no.
like Utan. Oh, I think he just passed away. I had to look it up, but at least he was the
I saw that. Yeah.
largest crocodile in the United States. He was a saltwater Siamese hybrid that came from a croc farm in Thailand.
Oh,
And he was at what's it called, Alligator Adventure, something like that. It was like at Myrtle Beach. So, but yeah,
okay.
he was a massive individual. He's like full 17 foot or something like that. So
Interesting. Wonder why I got so big.
I heard someone say it might have been due to the hybridization causing some sort of error with the gene that causes growth slowing down as they get older. But who knows?
Right. Like
Who
a
knows?
liger, basically.
Yeah,
Yeah.
or either that,
Something like that.
either
Yeah.
that, or he just got moved to America and just started pounding hamburgers. So,
Yeah.
I mean, can you blame them?
yeah, but yeah. Brian, do you have any other questions? Because I have one or two questions I know I want to ask.
No, let's round them out, my man. You got it.
All right. So what is one place that you haven't gone herping to that you want to go?
I'm curious to hear your
e-
answer, please.
either Iran or Iraq. I don't care. I want to go see Pseudocerastes urechnoides, the spider tail viper. That's like the top of my list there, and not end up in a prison. Like I'm so down.
I don't blame you, man. I had a buddy that actually went there this past spring,
Okay, no way. That's
Yeah,
awesome.
he went
and
like
he got to
Was he
see.
European? Was he European or was he a U.S. passport?
He's American.
Okay.
I don't want to
Yeah,
give away too
happens.
much of the specifics, but yeah, it's crazy. It happens. Yeah.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
think
it
was
definitely
that
happens.
the
I'm a little worried with the whole Kurdish militia thing. If the government found it.
yeah yeah.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, you finish what you're saying.
That was it. I'm just worried with the whole Kurdish militia thing. If the Iranian government found out, uh, if they would have any issues with it, or they may not care at all. But like I'm a little paranoid about that.
Yeah,
But we're looking into finding that species definitely comes into Iraq and stuff. So stay tuned.
yeah.
I guess I never asked. Have you ever seen a Malpolon in the Middle East?
Yeah, I've got the eastern one. Yeah, I got several with Rami in Lebanon.
Nice.
Yeah, very cool snakes. Yeah, and I was hoping. I think it's the other one in Morocco. I was really hoping for that one. I didn't see it. Yeah, I did not do well in Morocco. If you guys look up the Herp guys, you probably know them, like Brian Min or Mean. The Herp H.E.RP.
Yeah. Yeah.
Those guys run the best Morocco tour, like insane. And wells and cisterns are the name of the game in Morocco. So you got to go check all the wells and cisterns. They're basically like giant pit traps. And I was basically like 2 or 3 days behind them. And they checked, I think, somewhere around 700 of them. So like I was getting scraps. But thankfully, I still got Echis and I still got 1 Uromastyx. And so I went home happy. So.
And the main white whale for those expeditions is like the Varanus grisus, like the desert
Oh, yeah.
monitor lizard. Oh, those things are so badass.
Yeah, everyone loves those, man. Everyone gets so excited about them. Yeah.
Do they not do it for you? I mean, I like the Uromastyx too. Uromastyx
Yeah,
really good.
Uromastyx does it for me. Yeah,
Okay.
big time. Yeah,
Sure.
so fingers crossed, Egyptian Uromastyx about a month and a half from now.
Those are the biggest too, aren't they?
Yeah, those things, they're like maybe a meter. I don't know. Like they're big lizards.
I mean, they're
Way
like
bigger than-
almost like Chihuahua size, you know?
yeah. Fortunately, they eat them though too because they're so big. So
Yeah.
yeah.
yeah. I was gonna say, I remember that friend you mentioned. And we made a joke at the time. It's like, oh, we should see when his flight lands, and then like 2 hours before his flight lands, we just spam his Instagram messages with a bunch of pro IDF memes or something like that. That'd be so
Oh,
hilarious for
no.
him to go to customs, and we didn't, obviously. That was, we don't want blood on our hands, but
Yeah.
Oh, no.
3 years later, he comes back pissed. I've been in prison.
it's like, oh, I wonder what happened to your finger.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
But
So you say Iran or Iraq? That's kind of your top of the list.
Yeah, just to go
Where you
for
wanna
that
Yeah.
species. Yeah. So I did go to Iran for about 30 seconds once. So that's another thing. I posted that online. So I did hop the border for like 30 seconds, and I was like, well, now
You're
if they
a
find
corner
that out-
crosser.
Yeah. So I don't know if they're going to be happy with
Supreme
that
Court.
either. So
Uh,
yeah.
Yeah. And uh, one other question is, what is one particular species that you haven't yet seen that you want to see more than anything else, other than puff adders?
Oh man. Oh, I have seen the species, but not the subspecies, not the other. So my favorite snake forever was a Spinolaps lubricus. The Cape coral snake in South Africa, little lapid with little. It's still high on my list, but I got the Kinnabalo crate last year, and in the last couple of years, I've gotten like three different crate species. Fallen in love with crates. Uh, so definitely not one species I'm dying for, but I want to see the other subspecies of the red-headed crate. Dying to see because man, they can be like dark, almost black. They can be like blue. There's so much variation. Um, the banded crate I got in Bali was fully black. The Malayan crate I got in Bali is fully black. Normally one of those is black and white. The other one's black and yellow. The banded crate in Java is black and white instead of black and white. So there's all this variation. The Slowinski's crate. I'm on the crates and Tropidolaemus, the keeled pit viper, the temple vipers.
I thought you said
Uh,
Lapis didn't do it for you.
no, a lap is definitely good for me. Yeah, I don't know what I was talking
It's
about. It was
just the
definitely
it's just the
Lapis.
Aussie, just the Aussie Lapis that didn't.
Ah, Lassia. Yeah. Yeah. No thanks. Yeah.
Uh,
Australasian Lapids. Yeah. Yeah. There's a few of those that are cool. But I like the little fossorial ones that are harmless because it's just such a weird thing to hold a lap in your hand. You're like, this is so weird.
this thing could potentially kill you, but it's like very cute,
Well, or
fun
or it
size.
can't. But I mean, it's in the family things that you think it should kill you, but some
Like,
of those are pretty
did
much
you get to see
harmless.
a bandy, or was that too
I did
far?
not,
Were you
man.
too
I did
far
not.
west? Okay.
We were in the range of one of the bandies for sure. We did not get that. But I love Australians for their names. Bandy, a
Yeah.
red belly black snake. You know exactly what it looks like. You know what I mean? Tiger snake. It's got stripes. Like so
Yeah,
many of their names are so like obvious. I love it.
yeah. It's like Aussie names are either the most plain old descriptive names ever, or the most it was named by someone who was pissed drunk at the time names ever. So
Who calls a
So
brown snake
true.
Dugite? There's
Yeah,
Vegemite and there's Dugite.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and apparently the Mulga is like
oh, I
King
would love to see
Brown,
Molgas.
but
I think they just
oh
look
man,
cool. They're like
Yeah.
yeah. We got a pygmy Mulga, but we didn't get the big one. It used to be a Mulga. They split it off.
uh,
So it was like, yeah, wasn't the
yeah, like a
biggest.
full grown size Molga is almost like a cinnamon colored Ophiophagus almost.
Yeah, it really is. Yeah, big fat head and everything, man.
And then
Cool
like the
snakes.
Western tigers, the black and yellow. I mean, you can't go
hmm
wrong with those for
Can't
They have
go
their
sure.
own
wrong.
song.
I almost went wrong with those straight from the airport. My buddy took me to this lake in the middle of Perth. I
Oh,
picked it
okay.
up. Instead of resting the snake's body on the ground, I let it dangle, which the snakes hate that. Dude, I had a hex armor gloves on. It flipped up immediately and bit so high on my arm that it bit the seam at the edge of the hex armor glove. I hadn't even been home from. Hadn't been to his house from the airport yet. It was maybe an hour in
Uh,
Australia, and I had a close call. Can you imagine if it the shortest Australia trip ever?
that would suck so bad, man.
So bad.
Oh,
So
did you get
Oh,
to see any shinglebacks? Because I kind of think I know what you're talking
yeah.
about. Yeah,
Yeah, shinglebacks were super common. Like we got shinglebacks
nuts.
everywhere. They come in my buddy one day. Like came in to eat the poop in my buddy's yard, or it came in the yard and he said it was eating the poop. One of the
So
two.
they really
It
are the
was yeah,
equivalent of like inner city possums or raccoons. That's hilarious.
yeah, yeah. They really are.
I was
And
right
then you
there,
have like
Brian.
ibis birds, that they call bin chickens. Like
Yeah,
Bin chickens. That's funny.
yeah.
yeah.
Honestly, Brian, you said inner city there and paused there, and I was a little nervous, but you pulled through. Uh,
I'm glad I did. What?
uh, but in terms of countries I have never been to, but I think would be really cool to go to. Have you ever been to Namibia?
I have not. That looks really really cool. Um, so what do you want to go there just for like the scenery or like the little vipers,
Scenery,
scorpions?
little vipers, zebra spitting cobras, the geckos. So
hmm
it just seems like it has a lot
Yeah,
of
dude. Yeah, I feel like gecko.
yeah. I was gonna say it just seems a fair bit of the South African stuff without what seems like it has a fair bit of the South African wildlife with at least less of the South African politics, if that makes any sense.
Yeah. It's probably way, way, way safer. And it looks like a good place to bring a black light with all those geckos and scorpions. And you walk around the dunes. And this is like a fun place.
Yeah.
Yeah. Bucket list. Oh, and the desert chameleons running around. Like
Yeah,
that's got to be a trip. To
Oh
see them on
yeah.
the ground like that. Yeah.
that'd be
Is it
wild.
Namaqua dwarf chameleon or no, that's not it. I don't think they're mixing it. I can't remember what they're called.
I think it's Namakwa land, something like that.
Yeah, so maybe I'm in the ballpark there. Okay.
Yeah. Plus, you got your
Yeah,
Cape cobras, snouted cobras, house snakes. Yeah, you got a good menagerie of critters.
yeah. They got the Cheetah's cobra, which is like the snouted cobra, but like
It's like banded,
bigger,
right,
or
or something. Yeah,
yeah, and they
bigger,
can be
banded.
banded. They have bigger scales on the head and neck. Oh, epic snakes.
Oh, maybe one more question
Oh, and the
before
Spitalaps. What am I talking about?
Spitalus,
Oh,
they're
my
there too.
favorite snake. I've abandoned my favorite snake. The crates have done it.
Uh,
Yeah,
have you seen black mambas? Have you seen that when
yeah,
you were down
yeah.
south? Okay.
Only one. It was way up in the tree, but it was a big black mamba. And we were leaving a game drive, and someone like pointed the tree. I'm like, it's probably a stupid monkey. But I was like, stop, let's go see what he's pointing at. Sure enough, a black mamba was up there. It was pretty sick. Yeah, that's my only encounter, man. And I've handled a green mamba that my buddy. I was working, I couldn't go to the call out, but he got a call out at someone's house with the green mamba. He's like, "Hey, can you take it out of the tube and put it in the cage, and then we'll go release it in a couple of days." And I opened up that tube, and this thing came flying out, and this thing was all over the snake room. So it's a good thing that black mamba was far, bro, because I couldn't even handle the green mamba. So,
Crazy athletic. Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Speaking of arboreal venomous African snakes, have you ever encountered boom slangs, or is it boom slongs, or however they pronounce it?
Boom
No,
slong.
dude, I'm pretty sure. I'm like 70, 80% sure I saw one get away in Uganda, and I was gutted, absolutely gutted. The closest I've gotten is the Cape vine snakes, Phalatornis capensis. Found quite a few of those. Usually easier when they're sleeping at night. But I did my first one was a call out. My buddy had the same stupid tube. He doesn't believe in buckets. He likes tubes. I'm trying to shove this vine snake in like a tube, and it's like a long, slender snake, and it just keeps flying out of this thing. And my buddy's it's maybe my first day, second day in South Africa, and he's just dying laughing. I'm like, what thing bites me? He's like, if he dies, he dies. Talking about me. Like South Africans
Okay,
do
I
not
go
care.
Ivan Dragic.
Yeah, they don't care. Like I was helping a guy build some like cabins, and like all of a sudden he was installing the gas, and like the gas canister popped off, and the nozzle was flying around but lit. So like fires. And
Oof.
he like runs over and turns it off, and I'm like, and he's like, South Africa, we don't have health and safety. He's like, this is Zululand, not Disneyland. I was like, it's so wild. They really,
They
yeah,
operate a little bit
we were
different
moving.
out there. Yeah.
Yeah. We went to move some crocodiles in St. Lucia. These are maybe like 8 foot long Nile crocs, at least 7 foot, like big enough to be a problem, but small enough that I didn't know that they were a problem at that point because I probably handled American alligators at that point only. And I was like, oh, I got this. I'm like my like late 20s. I top jaw roped it, expecting a little bit of pressure to roll. And like, dude, that thing just came right at me, man. Came right at me. And then and then my buddy's holding the rope while this South African guy is jumping on it. And my buddy, he probably weighed maybe a buck 30, maybe. And he started flying with the rope. And then we just see like the head of this truck hit the guy's arm, the South African guy's arm, and just start death rolling. He's here, pop, 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 pop. I'm like, is that bones or tendons? Oh my gosh, is that bones or tendons? Thank God. It turned out it was just his shirt popping as it came like off his body. And then he had some cuts, and he just like got electrical tape, wrapped up the cuts. It didn't bite him, it just the teeth kept nicking him. And he went right back to work. I was like, man, these South Africans, they're a different breed, man. They are
No joke.
really tough. Yeah, really tough. Yeah. Yeah, I wouldn't want to fight one of those guys, man. And their legs are like stumps. Like if any ancestor didn't had chicken legs, they just died. Even the women though, they got these stumpy legs. I don't think I could date a South African girl. They got stumps.
Built.
Yeah, they are built.
It's hilarious.
Oh man. All
Oh
right,
my
well, I
goodness.
got a
But
piss.
hey, yeah, we want to be cognizant of your time, man. This was a
Yeah,
blast. We'll definitely have you back on. This was, I'm sure the Ramblers are definitely going to enjoy listening back to this, and I am as well. I'm definitely going to listen back to this episode. So thanks so much. I'm so glad, Nate, that got in contact with you and we could make this thing happen.
absolutely. I had fun. And when you come on a podcast and have fun, like you're good peeps. So definitely looking forward to it.
Gotta
Maybe when I
ask.
get back
So
from the big trip, we
this is
can.
your first podcast you've been on, or you've been on a few?
I've been on a crap load of podcasts. I have never,
Yeah.
ever been on a podcast that I've listened to before the podcast. Like I listened to Croccast podcasts. Or did you change the name? Because now I'm confused. Reptile Ramblings.
It's I
It's like a
still
network.
yeah. It's like a
Got you.
secondary
Okay.
show on the channel, so a second show on the channel. So
Gotcha. So okay, so Croccast podcast. I'm subscribed and I listen to all the episodes. You guys have had some like really good people from O'Shea to Ian to Rupert, to other people I don't know that like I've been listening to. Like really excited to be on this. It's the first time I've ever like been on a podcast that I actually listened to before. So
well,
I was really stoked.
I'm glad we made your international flights a little bit more bearable.
Yeah, man, it's encouraging for us. So I appreciate the compliments, 100%.
Awesome, guys.
And one last thing before we hang up, where can people find you if they want to look you up?
Yeah. The main thing would be Instagram. It's Caveman Rob, Caveman ROB, and there's a like a link there that you can get my Facebook. You can get all of my YouTube stuff. But if you don't have Instagram, just look up Rob Alleva, Alleva on Facebook, or just go to Safari Snakes and Safaris on YouTube. Snakes and Safaris I started a few months ago. I got maybe 6 or 7 full length videos and a bunch of shorts. So, but Caveman Rob Instagram is the main way.
All right.
Sure. Yeah, we'll have it all posted, my man. But shout us out, Nate. You got this.
All right. Once again, thanks for listening to us. I have been Nate. I've been, as always, been graced by the wonderfully, most talentedly voiced co-host I have, Mr. Brian McDowell, and like I said, Mr. Rob Alleva, Caveman Rob. Check out all the stuff. Really cool. You'll love it all. And with that, I'll say to you all a good night.